Some maps are drawn but never followed. Some adventures dreamed of but never experienced. To the Mad Mage, this was the greatest sin of all. He asked each of us, if you really want to be great, how far will you go? For over 15 years, we had no answer for him. Until today. Our journey to Castle Zagyg starts now. The fortified town of Yggsburgh hums with life. Traders, rogues, and scholars all gather together on the edge of the unknown. Depending on your neighborhood, the cobbled streets may be lined with strangers of an unscrupulous sort, but make no mistake, the people here hold the key to untold wealth and knowledge. Beyond the town's walls, past the rivers and the rolling hills, the ruins await. Crumbling towers, forgotten halls, and a darkness that stirs again at last. Most who enter the caves below may never be seen again, but those who do emerge will be remembered in legends for generations to come. And beneath it all, deep in the belly of the world, lie the upper floors of the dungeons. In this lightless place, you'll find twisted experiments, lost artifacts, and horrors unseen by mortal eyes. These are the first 5 layers of a labyrinth built by the Archmage Zagyg himself. This is more than a campaign setting. It's a gateway to adventures beyond your wildest dreams. So, will you walk with me, traveler? Don't you want to be great? How far will you go? Happy birthday!
We are live, and it looks like the Kickstarter did auto launch. Good, or the Backerkit, I should say.
We keep falling into that trap of like using Kickstarter, like
yes, over and over and over.
General.
I'm using the term project now. It's a project.
Well, as everyone knows, if you've been following the Trollords, we're going to sit here today and talk about UFOs. That is our primary focus for today.
We're here.
Maybe not UFOs. Maybe Castle Zagyg. Grace, you want to walk us in?
Welcome in, everybody. We're so excited. Castle Zagyg is live. Check it out. Hey, we got a guest.
I just showed up.
Luke is here.
Hey, Luke.
Hey, how's it going? Good morning, everybody.
Jacques Vallée, Wolf, Jacques Vallée.
We're here to discuss
Look, we started the conversation about UFOs, so it's...
well, yeah.
Sounds about right, doesn't it?
Sounds like a Barrier Peaks conversation. I don't know. Could be right there.
Yeah.
All 232 people on Twitch. Welcome in. This is very exciting. I'm going to post again the link to our Backerkit campaign. Check it out.
Check it out.
Personally, I don't know if we're going to hit it. I don't know if we're going to be able to fund this. I just don't know if we can do it.
It just
might be more powerful than that, Grace.
I haven't been seeing a lot of excitement online. You know, I'm just not sure.
Right.
Omut is in the house. Yes.
Oh, Lord.
for those of you just joining us, we have launched the Castle Zagyg Backerkit crowdfunding campaign. This is something new for Troll Lord Games. We normally work over on Kickstarter, but we have migrated over here. Talked to our good friends Joe Goodman from Goodman Games, and he kind of said, "Hey, man, you need to give this a shot." So we thought Castle Zagyg, this legendary creation of Gary Gygax's, could find a nice home here on Backerkit.
So far, it's been a great experience. Super happy with it, and we are going to kick the habit of just calling it a Kickstarter by default. We promise.
We will definitely kick that habit.
I know. I do that just all the time. It's like, I guess in the South, we say, "Yeah, I'd like a Coke." Okay, what kind of Coke do you want? You know, is that a root beer Coke or a Mr. Pibb Coke or whatever Coke you want?
Yeah,
So,
that's right.
Incomprehensible. Do we want to talk
That
a little
is
bit
correct.
about what the early bird benefits are, just in like some more
So,
detail? We posted about it
Grace,
online.
if you could first just give a quick introduction of everybody here, so
Yeah.
that viewers know, and then we'll dive into the early birds.
Yeah. Do we want to maybe like go around and introduce ourselves? Luke, would you want to kick us off?
Sure. Yeah. Hey, good morning, everyone. I am Luke Gygax. I am the son of Gary Gygax, the co-creator of Dungeons and Dragons, the whole RPG genre. And I am joining the Trolls today because it's very exciting. We're launching Castle Zagyg. Been looking forward to this for over 15 years now. So it's been a long wait. It's very exciting. I guess besides playing games with my dad growing up and playtesting lots of cool modules and making the character Melf and those spells and that sort of stuff way back in the day, I also run a convention called GaryCon in my father's honor, and I do a little bit of writing myself through my company, Gygax Inc. So there you go. That's me.
Very, very cool. Steve, do you want to go next?
I'm Stephen Chenault, CEO of Troll Lord Games. I manage this insane asylum here, do a lot of writing for Castles Crusades and the World of Air. And I wanted to give a quick shout out to Luke. Luke, you do some kind of, I can't remember what it's called. You and Davis talk about it all the time. Some kind of exercise program for, to encourage people to exercise. And I wanted to show you that, look, I got something to exercise with.
Yeah, that's
Grip
good.
strength.
Yes, that's the body by Gygax. And believe it or not, we're finally having an app in development. I was just talking to developers yesterday. So hopefully by GaryCon, we have something to show. And by Gen Con, we'll have a usable app. And basically, it's just to promote and make fitness fun for our community, because oftentimes we're sit at the table for 4, 5, 6 hours playing a game. And if you're like me, or Steve, he likes to drink Dr. Peppers. I like to drink beer and eat chips, and that's not good for your figure, and probably not good for your ticker either. So getting a little exercise helps out.
So I'm carrying the flag there, Luke.
Yes, yeah, crush it. You can crush your enemies. You got it right there.
I'm in an invisible competition with all of the members of the Body by Gygax Facebook group. It's been
Right?
awesome. Very, very motivating. An app is exciting.
Yeah.
Chuck, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Chuck Cumbow. I'm the community director for Troll Lord Games. We're here to hang out with you guys. I'm going to actually do some giveaways while we're here today. Why not? Yeah, I like doing that.
Woo!
Giving away stuff.
So you can.
So let me get over
join-
here. Yeah, just come over. You have to come over here to Troll Lord Games on Twitch. So twitch.tv/Troll Lord Games. Give us a follow, support raffle. That's the best I can do through the interwebs and all that stuff. But come hang out with us.
Yeah.
And here we go. It's live on that. Anyway, thanks everybody for showing up. This is going to be a great, exciting day.
Yeah, and joined by doing exclamation point raffle as other folks are doing
Yes,
here.
that's right. Raffle.
Very, very exciting.
And
Grace.
Davis.
Sorry.
Oh, Grace, you haven't introduced yourself. Sorry, I stepped out. Go ahead.
Where's he?
It's a short one. I'm Grace. I'm TLG's social media manager and perpetual cheerleader for all things Kickstarter and Backerkit and crowdfunding. Very, very exciting. So yeah.
Davis was going to join us, my brother and co-founder of Troll Lord Games, but he broke the cable to his camera, so he can't. So.
Bless his heart.
Oh, buddy.
Uh,
I'm low still.
I say, if you know Davis, that tracks. That's on target. That's really like, all right, I'm going to use the thing for this. I just rolled a 1. Damn it.
Yeah, that's
Camera's broken.
2 days on video, and it's been that where it 1960s TV where it just kind of rolls through. It's just this mess. it's crazy. And he, after like 2 days, he goes, "Is that my camera? Are you seeing that?" I said, "Yeah, I'm seeing it, dude." It's all right.
There's this newfangled invention, this site called Amazon, and you go on there and you just type in like camera, and then they send you one. It's pretty crazy, and it's usually like overnight even. So yeah, pretty fast stuff.
We are
I'm
7 minutes into the stream
believe
and we're
in
at
all of that.
$16,000, by the way. Just saying.
It's very, very good. And we're 7 minutes in. That is
Very
exceptionally
cool.
well.
We're racing. Speed run.
Yes. All right. So I'm going to give a quick rundown for those just joining us on what Castle Zagyg is and what to expect in this backer kit. And then, Grace, if you can dive in after that on the early bird rewards. It's too many words. So many words.
We're all exhausted, if you couldn't tell.
I'm telling you. So Castle Zagyg was created by Gary Gygax back in the late 60s, I think, and 70s. And it was really the fulcrum from which he created Dungeons and Dragons and all of that. Luke, when he was a very young man, played in Castle Zagyg many times and died, I suspect, in Castle Zagyg. But the whole thing, what you're looking at the Kickstarter today, is kind of three parts to Gary's creation. There's the dungeons, the castle, and then the Yggsburgh environment. Yggsburgh is it Yggsburgh? I think it's Yggsburgh. Yggsburgh, is that right, Luke? It's Yggsburgh.
I think he went with Yggsburgh, but yeah, it's a play on Gary Gygax, EGG, Yggsburgh, right?
That's cool.
That's what it's kind of that's what it's meant to be.
Didn't know
It
that.
took me way too many years to figure that out. Also,
Yeah, it's just a terrible pun. He loved puns. It's like just yeah, love
he
it.
runs. He loves to torment me with those. What you have is in volume one, called the Citadel, is Yggsburgh itself, and that is going to be the city, and the ounce, which is the little area just outside of the city. And that was Gary's last huge work that he worked on. He worked on multiple stuff after this, but he wrote all of this, so this is all pure Gary Gygax. The second volume, called The Ruins, includes the Eastmark, which is the area, I think it's 2,500 square miles. I'll have to look that up. It's the area around Yggsburgh and around the castle itself.
1,500 square miles.
Those are the ruins. How much?
1,500.
1,500 square miles. All right. And then the third volume begins us into the dungeons that lie beneath the castle. Those dungeons consist of 17 levels and another 10 sublevels, so a total of 27 levels. So volume 3 in this Kickstarter, in this Backerkit campaign, will include levels 2 through 5 and the 3 sublevels. So you're looking at 3 volumes of work here, close to 1,000 pages of content, probably 750 pages of content, 14 full-sized maps. How many encounters? Probably 1,000 encounters, 1,000. It's just absolutely an insane amount of material coming.
Thousands of hours of gaming content, for sure, easily.
Without a doubt. This is it. The nice thing about what we're delivering here is you've got a city to play in for all of your city adventures. You've got an environment that's 1,500 square miles for all of your overland adventures, and you've got a castle for exploration adventures. And then you've got a 27-level dungeon for the ultimate dungeoning, mega dungeoning experience. It's really everything that you need.
And Chad is letting us know we've just hit 100 backers. Very, very exciting.
Ooh, that's important because of the extra early bird or the extra early birds, right?
Well, they kick in at 250, I think, right?
Yeah, it's getting close.
So Grace, if you could tell us what the early bird.
Gladly.
Excellent.
With enthusiasm, absolutely. I'm very, very excited about these. We are releasing Boon Cards. If you've ever watched any of our actual plays, you'll know that I'm a big fan of being able to like whip something out of your inventory that's really obscure and specific to a certain situation, and being able to just like use it on the fly, and it's the perfect thing that you need. And basically these Boon Cards, and I think we're actually about to hit our goal. So oh my God, we just hit it. We're at 25,000. We funded it in 11 minutes.
All right.
Funded.
It's
11
11
minutes.
That's a good
Excellent.
sign.
Not bad. That's good.
Chuck, can you update that map and get that over to Davis too, so we can put it on Twitter?
I'm all on it.
I had my doubts. I didn't think we were going to hit it. I got to say. I'm
Oh,
surprised.
ye of little faith.
But yeah, so these Boon Cards have been written especially by the brothers Chenault, by Luke Gygax here, by Chuck. And basically, They provide like, from as I understand it, I've not read all of them, but they are like special abilities or like one-time use kind of resources that you can pull out and play against your castle keeper, or that your castle keeper can pull out and play against you, which is a super fun way to like, I don't know, you can give it out as like inspiration. Like you can reward like really excellent role play with a boon card. You can bribe your players to, for the love of God, start taking notes so you don't have to repeat the same NPC's name a million times. You can bribe them to not kill the shopkeep, who's totally innocent, not doing anything wrong, and basically just reward good behavior, or just like use it for the hell of it, just to make things interesting.
Yeah, the boon cards actually came out. Davis created those. I think it was fifth printing of the players of the Castles and Crusades Players Handbook. We had, I don't know, we had like 400 of them to sign. He and I did. And he got wind somehow that a retailer had ordered a bunch with just signatures in them. And he got wind that the retailer was just going to auction them off. And Davis thought, no, we're not doing that. So he started personalizing all of the signatures that we did. And then about the third one, he personalized the little message he wrote. He said he thought, I'm just going to start giving them stuff. And he's, this gives you a +1. This gets you an extra spell, an extra attribute point, a reroll. So that launched us into any time that Davis and I, and Chuck picked it up later, signed a book, a Castles and Crusades book. It comes with some kind of boon for the player. Now, for some of those out there, and I think Omut's with us, for some of those out there, it became a real problem because Omut was running 2 or 3 tables. And we had given boon cards to all our boon signatures to all of his players, and it was wrecking his game. So we began to put boons in CK's books as well to counteract our own boons. There was a short war between Jim Ward and I where we just wrote our signatures to counteract each other's boons at the table. That was a lot of fun. So,
that sounds like Jim. That tracks.
Boon war.
Yeah, that tracks very much.
Yeah.
So it seemed to be a natural fit. Castle Zagyg is, as Luke will attest, Castle Zagyg is a dungeon made by not an evil mage, an insane mage.
Mad Archmage, that's right.
So death is going to be on the line a lot. What do they say in The Princess Bride? I can't remember what that the whole.
Never bet with the Sicilian when death is on the line.
That's it, yeah.
Yes, that's right.
Yes.
Fallen victim to one of the great classic.
So the boon cards will hopefully counteract a little bit of the insanity that Castle Zagyg delivers.
Is it cute puppy time?
So,
oh yes,
Steve, let me interject one little thing about Omot and his little crew of his little toadies, his crew. They came to GaryCon last year, and I ran a 12-person game. And that table, I had out of 12 players, I had 10 boons between them from books. Because of him and his bunch. But he paid the price for his arrogance.
What goes up must
come
down.
The boons can be fun. And
they can.
I think my favorite boon card that I've read so far is Tag Me In Coach, where you can immediately, in a flash of blue light, swap places with another character.
Chuck's got a whole list of these.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I've been putting them together for a long time. I got a lot of them from the community, too, over streams and stuff. We've talked about it. It's fun, Do
we have any favorite boons that we could share?
Me?
Yeah, just any favorite one, notable ones, just to give the idea of
oh yeah,
what's on these cards.
There's some, what do you want to call them? Player favorites, I guess.
Yeah.
So let's see.
That's awesome.
Oh, welcome to the jungle, baby. Target gains +7 or 25% on one roll of the dice.
Good Lord, your boons are much better than my boons.
That's a cool one. Of course, you saw Bring Out the Dead, of course, which is basically a raised dead thing you can earn. At my table, the guys vote at the end of each session. I do this for all my games, online or any campaign. They vote, right? Who was the best or whatever, best ideal, save my ass, whatever. And then whoever that is gets to, basically roll on a percentile chart, and they pick a boon and they get to keep it. They can trade it. They can let someone else in the group use it. If they happen to get voted twice in a row, well, then they got to give it up before they can roll to get a new boon. So sometimes there's a lot of deliberation with the group. No, don't do it. We'll be done playing. They'll be here 20 minutes talking about the boon he's going to roll for. I'm wanting to go to bed or whatever, and they're in here arguing about it because It's a big deal, you know.
Yeah.
So,
I don't-
anyway,
I don't think I've ever had boons at my table. I give them out freely, but I do
yes, you have.
not.
Let's see. $6 million moves. User receives one additional round of action during their turn. Eye of the Tiger. Vision clouds red and focused. When used for one roll only, target gains a bonus to hit and damage against an enemy. The bonus is equal to the number of armor class points the target is willing to sacrifice, up to 5, lowering their armor class. So you give up some of your AC to get bonuses to attack.
We love a risky play.
Like a rage, right?
We
Yeah.
love it.
I think, again, these need to be worked on a little bit. They're just things we've just done over the years. But
So
Greatest
these,
American Hero. Here's one. Greatest American Hero. You remember that show, Steve?
yes.
Player has 50% chance of flying forwards after running at least 3 steps and jumping in the air. The other 50% has him fall prone.
Isn't that John Ritter or John Ritter? Isn't that,
Is
who
that,
I don't remember
was
that.
that John Ritter? Was it? Yeah. That's going back a couple years.
that is
A couple of years.
I'm pretty sure I was like in 4th grade or something. So it was a while ago, guys.
Oh wait, Wolfalum says no, it wasn't. So Agile says yes. I don't know who it was. It was some
William Catt. William Catt says
William Catt. That's it. William Catt. That's for sure the name. That strikes a bell.
So these boon cards are only going to be available for anyone who backs the Kickstarter in the first 48 hours. So if you want one of these boon cards, and we're starting with 3, I believe it is, 3 and 1 CK boon card. And if we do 250 backers in the first 48 hours, we're going to up that to 5 boon cards and 1 CK. And 500 backers gets 7 boon cards. And these will come with each of your pledge levels to do with as you desire. The CK may want to tuck them away. The CK may want to hand them out.
The CK may want to play all of them, every single one at once,
And there you go.
just to see how much damage they can do.
John Ritter did something. I can't remember. He did some short-lived superhero TV show. I can't.
He did. You're right, but I don't remember.
I don't remember that one at all. Yeah, that's some trivia I don't have.
I'm gonna look it up and see if he's lying or not to us, Luke. Let's see.
All right. Yeah, can't trust that guy. He's bluffing.
You gotta check that guy. You gotta always check.
I know. I tell you, it's like he's put a screen in front of him. You can't tell if he's making it up or what's going on right there.
It's like he's telling a story or something. I don't know.
Sure, John Ritter.
Sure. What
Hero
is
large?
guy?
No, that's not.
What does he say? Show off.
Question. Who is John
Yeah.
Ritter?
Oh, my.
Shut up, youngster. We don't
Yeah,
need
hero
your stats.
large. Hero
Sounds
large,
lame
that's
and
a good word.
old.
So John Ritter, back in the 70s, he broke out in this TV show called Three's Company, which is, you may have heard of that. Groundbreaking kind of at the time, but it was absolutely hilarious. And he himself, in a Hollywood, that's whatever Hollywood is one of the most genuine people. He was so nice and kind and funny. And he got Kelly, he was on a show with Kelly, how do you say her name? Cuoco? From The Big Bang Theory. But he died while filming that show.
Ooh.
And then, that ended that. And she launched into The Big Bang. He's a great actor, just a great, funny comedian actor.
Yeah.
I did not know that, Tyler. Tyler says John Ritter appeared in
Just
the wall.
hit
I'm sure Grace doesn't know who
200
the Waltons
backers.
are.
200 backers. Oh my God. We're
$44,000.
going through this
Very
quickly.
exciting.
Birds. That is exciting.
Very exciting. Very exciting. And thank you all for joining the Kickstarter, the Backerkit campaign.
My
This
audio just cut out
crowdfunding
randomly, sorry.
campaign.
on Backerkit.
Oh man, how we get used to things.
So, no kidding. 8 simple rules. That was it. DH Cross. I love television. Grace watches no TV.
Dan?
Yeah.
I love television.
I put my head down and I play pretend, and that's
Yeah.
my entertainment.
Perfectly fine. Most of it's not worth watching.
That's what we were saying earlier, Sparky. It's pretty much the same. Kickstarter's become like Coke and whatever else. You know.
I'm trying to
Dan
find the
is in the
comment.
house. So DH Cross, Dan Cross, a quick introduction for those of you who don't know him. Dan worked with Gary on the World Builder that we published back in 2002, I think is when it originally came out. And Dan went on to work on other projects with Gary as well. And he has become, for the past year, I think, our chief Gygaxian editor. He has been working tirelessly on the GFW series, the Gygaxian. Wait, we've renamed that too.
What the WBA, the World Builders
World
Archive.
Builders Archive.
World Builders Archive.
The GFW, World Builders Archive.
Gary's World Builder books, he's been tirelessly working, and I think he's on Nation Builder at this point. Those things should be queuing up for layout any day now. Canting Crew and Essential Facts and things are queued up for that. And Dan will be working on Castle Zagyg as well, helping make certain that we keep the tone of Gary and all of the the manifold aspects of these levels to make sure that it's all in and we keep on track.
Dan also wrote the Guide to Adventure Writing, which is the single most useful book that I think I've ever read on anything in my entire life. It's a good resource for gamers, for writers, for teachers, for just if you're interested in stories at all. Man, Hero with 1,000 Faces and the Guide to Adventure Writing. Those are what you need.
It is a fantastic book, and it too will be coming out later this year. We were hoping to get it out in March, April. It looks like it's pushed back a little bit. We won't go into any of that, but the things beyond the TLG's control with the movement of goods and services across planet Earth is causing printers to get crowded suddenly for some reason. And I'm not sure what's going on, but print times are going to move from 4 weeks to 12 weeks is what I'm told. So we will get them out.
We did have somebody asking if there were going to be more add-ons to choose from. We are open to suggestions, I believe, right?
We're always open to suggestions. Look, if you get in, these things can be very complicated. And if you get in there and you find something that doesn't ring true or seems odd or that you want to add to, we can't promise that we can put the add-ons. Generally speaking, for a lot of stuff, you can already purchase it, whether it's Troll Lord Games material, Castles and Crusades, or it's something that Luke has created on his own. Luke, real quick, you renamed your company. It's
Gygax Inc.
Gygax Inc.
That's right. Like
INK.
INK. That's right. So we're getting that rolled out, and I'll be updating the website and getting all that stood up. But it takes a minute with GaryCon, literally next week. I think, is that right? Next week. Yes, literally next week. Yeah. Then you can imagine it's been a little hectic, and there's been a lot going on in the family too. So, but yes, Gygax Inc. Very proud to have that out, and I was busily spreading the news about this Kickstarter on my social medias, and I realized when I inserted a picture, the link disappeared, so I had to go back and fix all that. So sorry about that, people.
We love technology.
Like, where's the link? Oh, come on, really?
We knew this was going to be a working stream regardless.
Oh yeah, we're sure. So we have a question. If I backed, Mike 27283 says, if I backed, does that automatically enroll me in the raffle? Apologies on the iPhone. Can't figure it out. Thank you. Yes. I believe so. Within 48 hours, if you back, you're in the raffle drawing.
So
however, there's a different raffle here in Twitch. I'm so sorry. I just wanted to clarify that. There's two raffles.
Oh, yeah. Good catch.
There's like a Twitch raffle, and then there's like the Backerkit raffle. You'll be enrolled in the Backerkit raffle by pledging, of course, but if you want to maybe get like a coupon for the TLG store, then you just click type out !raffle in the Twitch chat here.
And that, Grace, do you want to go over that? I don't think we talked about the second part of the early bird giveaways, the raffle itself.
Can I mention something real quick? For anybody out there who's on the fence, we do have a thing that we've never been able to do before for crowdfunding. On the page there, if you will just go down to the bottom, it's the last thing at the bottom because you didn't want to shove it in your face when you showed up there, is an option to pay over time. So you can actually spread your payments out and not have to pay for it all up front today. So that's an option for some people that want to do. So we got it enabled. Anyway, carry on.
Yeah. It's very, very exciting. So we found deep in the storage of the troll dens a little pack of Yggsburgh folios, setting folios. And these are special because they've been signed by Gary Gygax. I think they were produced in, 2004?
4 or 5, somewhere around in there. The Yggsburgh folios.
Yeah, so these have been like sitting, and we want to give them away. So yeah, if you go ahead and back within 48 hours as part of like this early bird kind of special, your name will be entered into a raffle to receive one of the 5 Eastmark folios signed by Gary Gygax that we're giving away. So not only will you get your Boon Cards to help you survive this like historic setting and adventure, but you're gonna also receive a literal piece of like gaming history signed by the father of modern tabletop RPGs. Very, very exciting stuff. How
Very
stinky are they? Asks Neil M on X.
They're not stinky at all.
Yeah, come on. The trolls are totally clean.
We because I'm kind of a bibliophile, I kind of make sure things are stored correctly, if a little bit chaotically at times. 25 years of doing this and several moves and like Luke, we changed our company name back in 2003, and that was not fun at all.
You changed your company name?
We used to be, when the original Articles of Incorporation is Troll Lord Games. In 2003, we changed the companies to Chenault and Gray Publishing, and Troll Lord Games is a subsidiary of C&G. So it's Endless, what is it? Ends Meet Productions is a subsidiary. Chenault and Gray Printing is a subsidiary. But yeah, it was not fun. It's not part of that. It was fun.
Come on, government papers and filing things, it's fees, it's great.
I love playing papers and paychecks. That's a great game.
Yeah. And then you have to do it at the state level and the federal level, and then the information doesn't get updated, and you try to do some banking stuff, and they're like, "That's the wrong name of your company. Why is it?" Oh my god!
And you've got aggravating employees that don't live in your state, and you have to deal with other states. And
oh my god!
About that.
I think to make you all move to Arkansas.
A couple questions real quick, guys.
Yeah,
John D asks, will we be able to add books from the lower level to the leather books level? Any add-ons are able to be added to any pledge level. Doesn't matter. I didn't do anything exclusive. I will note on the $5 one, that's you bid $5, and then what will happen is you will add whatever book you want on there, and pay the price for it, and it comes with the PDF on the $5 level. I just want to throw that in there because I don't really want to have to try to dig through a million different things, right? So, and it works out good because you're getting the PDF basically for $5, right? So it's not bad.
Pretty good deal.
Yeah. Now, next question from Wine.Mike. I know it's a bit off topic, but I've missed the last 1 or 2 regular Twitch sessions. Can anyone speak quickly on the timeline for the starter box sets? I was lucky enough to snag one of the limited edition ones. When will they ship?
So we're hoping April. We've got the boxes in layout, and really it's going to be, everything is written for that. The boxes that hold up. It's all produced here in the United States with USA pulp material. It's all, so that's not an issue, but they're telling me 4 to 6 weeks on that. We have the boxes in layout now. We should have it to them by Friday at the latest, hopefully Thursday. So 4 weeks after that, 6 weeks maximum. So sometime in April, early May, that thing should be out the door and headed to you guys without a doubt.
Cool.
I'm very excited about that too. It's gonna be. I'm just loving all the new stuff coming out here.
Yeah.
And all this stuff is totally interchangeable with Castle Zagyg. All of it is.
Oh yeah.
Indeed.
You know, that's what's beautiful about it.
Metal Demon asks, is this a complete rewrite of the Castle Zagyg material, or will it include stuff that was done by Jeffrey Talanian? It is not a rewrite.
That is a fantastic question. So, Citadel Volume 1 is written by Gary Gygax. It's going to be the same material that he put out, that we published back in 2005. That we're not changing at all. There'll be some tight editing in it. New art, new maps. We brought in Bill Edmonds for the maps. New cover. The second volume, The Ruins, will be all Jeffrey Talanian. It'll be the original material he wrote. We could not break with that. He wrote with Gary's, instructions. Literally, they talked almost every day while he was creating that. So that'll carry you through all of the Castle Ruins, the Mouths of Madness, and the Storerooms Level 1. The third book will be written by Michael Stewart. This is all new content based on the extensive notes and very extensive maps that Gary produced back in the 70s while he was killing Luke's character as he worked his way through it. That's one of the funniest thing about those maps is it has notes. And I had to ask Luke who they were. It was like ME or what, I can't remember what it is now, but died, not killed. It was awesome.
Steven, I have an interesting question that popped up in the stream. Memorial Tomb as an add-on.
Oh no, that's interesting. So we can do that. You can always do that, or you can go to our site right now and purchase the Memorial Tomb, and it'll ship within 24 hours. That would be my recommendation on it. Then you don't have to wait for 6 months or a year or however long, getting these 3 books wrapped up and out takes. Shouldn't be a year, but that's what I'd recommend. But we could certainly add that on as an add-on.
Let's see. Playing Some Games asked, have you considered making a World of Air board game? Perhaps climbing the Tower of Offstrag. Ooh, we could do with that the Dread Jenga game. You know what I'm talking about? Make it the tower. Oh my God, that's
Davis
a great idea.
actually wrote a board game for the World of Air back in like 06, 07, 08. It would be, well, it's in Davis's notes, so good luck. But
Yeah.
we need to unleash Sparky on that. But yeah, we would absolutely do. You're going to see a lot more aired material coming out. Davis and I had a meeting on that yesterday, which is good.
Very exciting. We love air.
He made the hard pitch. Grace, you'll appreciate this. He's working on guilds and orders right now. He made the hard pitch, and I agreed that the guilds should all be guilds from Aird. So the whole book is going to shift into an Airdian.
Yes.
Yes.
I love
It'll
to
be
hear
very
that. Very, very exciting. Cyborg Gecko is asking, would there be a way to get just the 3 leather-bound versions of the books, or possibly the leather-bound plus the PDF?
Chuck, did you put the leathers on add-ons?
No.
Could you do that, please? Give Chuck a few hours. We'll get those leathers up. Then you could pledge 5 and get the 3 leathers that way as an add-on. Is that possible, Chuck?
It's possible.
Okay.
It's our first time ever doing leathers on add-ons ever, so that's why it would be a first.
So
It's also the first time that we've going to complete Castle Zagyg too. So there's that.
It's a historic campaign in many ways.
the other option, and this is the struggle with these crowdfunding campaigns. The other option for us to do is to create a separate pledge level for just the levels, which we have done that in the past. But the more levels we get, we find that the more difficult it is for people who are interested to come navigate what's going on and try to figure out what they're backing and what they're not backing. So that's what the $5 pledge is there generally is for, so that you can build your own pledge. If you just want this or you want that, you can build it and go in.
Very, very fun. Can we talk a little bit about like what's in each of the 3 books? We've got the Citadel, the Ruins, and the Cellars. And we've got like the descriptions of the books up, but like those of you, Luke and I guess Steve and Chuck, have you played through Castle Zagyg as well before?
It's been a few years ago. We played Mac Golden, who co-created Castles and Crusades, ran us through Yggsburgh and the Eastmark. My character died before we got to the dungeons, so to the castle.
How did they die? What I want to know is, like, just from you 3 that have played in this setting before, do you have any fun like gameplay stories of like stuff that has happened in the realm of the Mad Archmage to share?
Luke?
But yeah, I mean, so you got it. This was created. It's literally like the testing grounds, right? So, I delved there probably the last time would be in the 80s that I went down there with my dad DMing.
And by the testing grounds, you mean like for Dungeons and Dragons?
For D&D and for everything else, yeah. So it was his home campaign. So it morphed over time. But he pulled a lot of things. You know, there was a lot of great ideas that he put in there because he read extensively, anywhere from comic books to pulp stuff and watching movies and radio dramas and all that stuff kind of got mixed up in fairy tales and everything. And he would pick and pull bits and twist them and morph them. There's nothing new under the sun, folks, right? So there is no original idea ever anywhere. It's just how you take an idea and reshape it and add different components together to come up with something new.
Like you are the secret ingredient to the story.
Yeah, pretty much. It's how you twist it and put your own take on it. But yeah, so there was, man, what are some of the fun things that have been down there? I mean, there was a puzzle that basically got teleported into a dead-end cavern. This is probably in there, so I don't want to. It's just spoiler alert. That's the only thing. You have to be aware of your surroundings And sure, there was plenty of hack and slash. There was plenty of monsters and traps and that sort of stuff. But there's also puzzles and things that you have to figure out through investigation and smart gameplay.
Yeah.
So keeping your wits about you. This is all, all the way back in, 75, 76. You might get put in a place and you have to look around and figure out what, and through talking to your DM and working it out, not just die rolling,
Right.
figure out what the clues are, and then be able to kind of piece them together so that you can get out.
Yeah.
And yeah, I remember
That takes a good talented game master, I think, to leave it not just up to the die rolls, but to work with your player to solve the puzzle.
Well, it's really in that sense. So there's plenty of the die rolling stuff, and people say, "Oh, old school's just die rolling and hack and slash." Not really, because you did have to search around and find clues, and then noodle through how those things went together. Whether it's there's something, you're laying on your back, and there's some stuff up there, there's maybe some stars on the ceiling, and what would you do? So yeah, there's many things like that. I can tell a story that's not set in Castle Zagyg that might give you an idea. So my character Melf had done something. He'd transgressed, and he actually met the we won't go into too much detail there, it's a little embarrassing. I was young, I was greedy. And yeah, and so I ended up meeting calling upon the mad Archmage himself, Zagyg, who showed up because he's crazy and he might just do that even though he's a deity or a demigod. And he whisked me away and he said, well, here you are, figure out how to get out if you want. Yes, you called upon me, I took you out of that situation, but here you go. Had a loincloth on, that was it. And there was a huge stone wall around me, 20 feet tall, and a huge pile of hay. And he said, find the needle in the haystack. And then he disappeared. So I went about it, how would you do it? Okay, I'm dividing it up, I'm using my feet to stomp on things or whatever. He's like, yeah, you do that for a while, it's a huge pile. And all right, eventually you get tired, you go to sleep, you wake up, there's 2 piles of hay. They've regenerated into 2 giant piles of hay.
No.
So I'm like, okay, so I basically had to figure out, okay, how could I do this? I found a couple rocks, created a spark, burnt them, right? And then, so there was a bunch of ashes there. I took off my loincloth, spread the ashes out so they'd cool down, and then walked barefoot over it until I would hopefully find a needle. Turns out it was an invisible needle, so I did eventually step on it after many hours. And then he's like, great, you have an invisible, yep, you think this is like a needle. And I'm like, okay, I found it. Nothing. So I had to figure out what that was, how to use it. And so I went through a bunch of trial and errors to figure out, okay, it's obviously a magical device because it was invisible. It turned out to be the Spear of Zagyg that could go from the size of a pin to a pike, and had a lot of random things about it. And of course, it allowed me to fly and astral travel, which is how I was able to escape. So he gave me the means. But I could have just starved there if I didn't think of anything or died of thirst or whatever. So there's just, that was one where I had to think more about other things. And then I knew nothing about planar travel or that sort of stuff. So there was all sorts of different colored discs all throughout that I was going around. And I ended up flying in amongst demons sometimes, or,
we need to make a multiplanar interstate. Just
it was great.
Directions.
It was great. I didn't know what exit. I couldn't read any of the language. I didn't know what exit I was getting off on. I had no idea where I was going. That was a lot of fun. So as a kid, that was a blast. That was several one-on-one adventures with my dad, which were some great memories. But that sort of stuff also exists in Castle Zagyg, besides your dungeon crawling, and of course, the Mad Archmage. That's there for his entertainment. He's set puzzles. He's got various threads running through, and some of them are just to make him laugh. Some of them could have great rewards attached to them. Some could have shenanigans because you just don't know what you're getting with Zagyg, and I think that's part of it. Sometimes there'd be no treasure with creatures, and it would be a bummer, or you have to search for it. And then another time, I was going through Castle Zagyg, and I think I might have I can't remember who I was looking through the manuscript with and saw this. Melf was fairly low level, again, 4th level-ish, somewhere in there. And I opened up a door, old school, you had to kick it open, right? Roll the die. And he's like, something falls on your head and it's covering you. What do you want to do? And I said, well, am I being attacked? And he's like, okay, you're waiting to see if you're being attacked. I'm like, yeah. No, nothing's attacking you. And I was like, okay, great. And so I carefully took off my head, and it was a cloak, right? And it turned out that it was actual Cloak of Displacement, which is an amazing magic item, right? Incredible, super, super great, especially for a spellcaster back in the early days, because the first attack misses you, right? It's important. And in old school D&D, if anyone doesn't know, if you're casting a spell and you get hit, the spell disappears, and that's your whole turn. So not good. But yeah, of course, if I'd said, no, I attack it, or I'm trying to get, he would have had my sword pierce the, pierce the cloak and that sort of thing. So that's like some old school shenanigans that are there. Careful play, all the dungeon crawling classic stuff. You get to a doorway or an archway or whatever it is. Okay, I look up, I look down, I look all around. Do I see anything? Okay, I prod the floor with my spear butt or whatever as I'm advancing forward. Does the floor give at all? Does it feel any different? Is there any discoloration on the stones? Is there wetness? Is there all those sorts of things were part of the play, because the puzzle part a lot of times was the environment, right?
Right. So
And
this
style of
sounds
play has
like
changed.
different than how someone like me a year ago, like a sort of new player with no context, might imagine the biggest, greatest mega dungeon ever. Like, it seems a lot more like whimsical and clever and like mental a little bit. Like, there's puzzles and things that like kind of test you and play with you, as opposed to just like a dark, oppressive dungeon
Yes.
with like spike traps and that's it.
Yeah. So it's not the Tomb of Horrors. Tomb of Horrors was
Right.
specifically designed as a tournament play to test people and really thin the herd, right? There's a lot of
Also
people say,
very
well, I'm really
fun,
good at this.
I've
It's
heard.
like, oh, you're a good player? Check this out. I got something for you. You think you're clever. But
I,
yeah, go
I
ahead.
never survived the Tomb of Horrors.
Must not be a good player.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever survived that either. It's very difficult and very challenging. If you survived it, which I know Robilar made it through, and that's a huge accomplishment. But another thing that people say is, oh, it's always about, you're always fighting stuff and killing monsters, or monsters are, it's just hack and slash. Not true. Again, playing Melf, I was pretty young. It's probably when he was second or third level, so very early beginning. I think it's the first level of the actual dungeon. Again, a little bit of a spoiler alert. Somewhere on there was a creature that is typically considered evil and stupid, and big, and would be very tough for a first level character or low level character to encounter. But he positioned himself where he controlled a set of stairs down, and going down in the dungeon leads to bigger potential treasure, right? And he just wanted something in payment for it. So he didn't fight me. He talked to me, and he said, "Hey, I'll let you down the stairs." I think my dad did a voice like, "You want to go down the stairs? That'll cost you 50 golds," or whatever it was. And so I was, I talked to him, and I was a kid, so I was talking to him, well, why are you like this? Why do you live down here? Don't you want to, have you ever thought of, Celestian's a really good god. Have you thought about your deeds and what's going on? He's like, "Oh, this is really boring. I don't want to talk to you about this stuff." But there's many times I encountered him, exchanged, became on friendly terms with the creature, and never fought him. But I did try to convert him to have a change of heart and become a goodly sort.
Did he ever become a
but
goodly
never
sort?
happened. So
No.
so yeah, you could parlay with creatures if they were intelligent and you had something they might want, right? Creatures would run away and live to fight another day if they could. So it's not just kicking in doors and blowing stuff up. Puzzles, traps, threads of storyline going through it, being able to talk to various characters, manipulate characters against each other, or NPCs, or dramatic personae that appear, and that's really all up to your style of play. And I guess that's what you get with a skilled DM, is they're gonna figure out what you want. But there's a lot of room in Castle Zagyg, and certainly the environs and surroundings, to do that sort of stuff. So I'll shut up now because I've been talking probably for way too long.
No, you're good. It's interesting too, because if you think about early D&D, because you're right. I don't really like to think of OD&D, of old D&D, original Dungeons and Dragons, when we played it back in the 70s. Davis was world building almost immediately. I mean, he started, there's villages, he started mapping out cities. So it was sort of like video games are now. The difference is between 1970 and today's RPGs. Today's RPGs give you a lot of room. They give you boon cards, right? So you can get out of stuff. But in a video game, you don't really get to get out. If you don't hit the big boss, you just die, and you gotta, you get to respawn, which is nice. But in AD&D, OD&D, there was no respawning. There was just the dice. You could play, you could world build, you could role play, you could figure things out, you could do all that stuff. But generally, if the dice went against you, you died. There was no safety net for your characters. That was the big.
Yeah, and if you just blew one save, if a giant spider bit you, or whatever, anything with poison, done.
And speaking of spiders, back in like 1978, 77 or 9, I don't know what year, Davis killed 17 of my characters in a row, one sitting with giant spiders.
That's just mean-spirited.
Yeah, I would make a fighter going with random encounter, spiders, and I got killed, and it pissed me off. I said, I'm making another fighter. And he said, well, you'll be from the same village. So we went over until like the 17th character died. He was like, all right, there's no more warriors left in the village. We got to do something. It was really funny.
Yeah. Is that where your love of rivers came from, to like flush the spiders?
Yes. My obsession with drowning characters.
Yeah, it's like payback.
So I sadly I didn't make it. Mac ran us through Castle Zagyg, and he did Yggsburgh, and then we did in the Environs, and most of it was in the Environs. And I remember it was one of these moments that I'm sure many of you guys have experienced. We were like 4th level, I think, maybe 5th, and we were working our way to the castle ruins because they can be tough, and Mac didn't want us to get chewed to pieces once we got in there. Yeah. And Chris Harris and I were playing brothers, and I was a paladin, he was a cleric, and we were so in sync at the table, and combat and role playing was great. And this went on for like, I don't know, 9-10 months of playing once a week at least. And then my paladin got killed. I can't remember exactly how he got killed. It was very ignoble. It was not the noble death that you look for. That I remember. And Chris could never orient his character again. And then I made a new character, and it wouldn't fit with Chris's. And after like 3 more games, it just kind of petered off. We couldn't keep the thing going. It was rather sad. It was a sad moment. So I never made it to the castle. So
yeah, sometimes that happens. There's a lot of adventure leading up to it as well. So
yeah, well, that's the glory here. What you're going to land here is a complete setting.
Yeah.
And one of the for everyone who signed up, to let you all know, everyone who signed up for the Kickstarter will receive the Ounce Inn. Now, the Ounce Inn is going to be in the Citadel itself. But the Ounce Inn, if you picture, I'll get when Chuck gets back on. I got Chuck doing something right now. When he gets back on, we'll get one of the original maps of Yggsburgh up so people can see it. But the Ounce is this neighborhood outside the wall. It's relatively large. I think it's got 4,000 people that live in it, but its main kind of center is the Ounce Inn. And this Gary clearly put here for adventures to begin and adventures to regroup and all of that stuff, because you can come here and heal and whatever as you're getting chewed up, both in the environs, the castle, and in the dungeons.
Did we go over that, the Ounce Inn, and the fact that everyone's getting it for free?
Well, it was in all the literature leading up to it, but you had to sign up to get the Ounce Inn for free.
Yeah. Everyone who followed the
campaign. So what's really nice about this, for those of you familiar, and we've had a few questions about what's going to be different, and here's one of a major difference. When we originally published Yggsburgh, the Ounce Inn is one map drawn by Darlene. It's beautiful. She did a fantastic job on it, as she always does. But Bill got into it. Bill Edmonds, who's doing it now, he got into it and he said, I want to do all the levels, all the floors that Gary's described. And I said, go for it. So he's working on level 2 or 3 today, because there's 3 levels to the tavern/inn. So we're going to do that, clean that up as a PDF and send that out to all those who signed up. We want to thank you for signing up. Absolutely. But you will, if you back the project, you're still going to get the Ounce Inn when the books come out. You will have those. It'll definitely be in there with all of the maps and all of the stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff all the way around.
We have a question that we actually missed from earlier. How Prime Gaming Torlock asked, or no, sorry, just Torlock. Prime Gaming is because they subscribe to Prime. Anyway, how is this different from Castle Greyhawk or the Greyhawk Ruins? I assume very.
Very. Luke, do you want me to tackle that or?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so Jason Vey actually picked up your question, Torlock, and answered it for me, which is nice because Jason Vey, he works for Troller Games. He's worked for Luke for a couple of times. A game designer, goes way back. But he wanted to make sure everyone knew that the two have nothing to do with one another at all. The original Greyhawk or Greyhawk Runes was written kind of, I don't know where they took their notes. It wasn't Gary's, but this material that we're producing is all from Gary's original notes, Gary's original concepts, especially Yggsburgh, written by Gary himself, and the upper works, the ruins section, written by Jeff Delaney, and with Gary working hand in hand with him as well. So this will all be new material. And I saw another question pop up about Rob Kuntz's Dark Chateau and some other stuff that he did. Rob Kuntz has his own publishing company. For his material, you're going to have to go and visit Rob and see what he offers. I know he's got quite a few titles now.
Yeah, I think was the question, because I was reading comments. So the question was about like Greyhawk stuff that came out after like 1986 or something. Is that what they're asking about? Yeah, that's absolutely nothing at all. And in fact, some of those products, and I don't know which ones, I didn't pay that much attention to them, but some were written specifically to be derogatory. So yeah, definitely not that.
I remember looking at. I didn't buy that. I remember looking at it in a store and going, I'm not getting that. I'm just not picking it up. They went the wrong direction with what it should be. What it is, I should say, not should be. That's the nice thing to let everyone know. The first 2 volumes are finished. They're queued up for editing. Now we got to get Gary's Fantasy Worlds stuff done. But these are queued up for editing, and then they're ready for layout. Now art is a whole different ballgame, and the mapping is going to take a little while, especially. Well, it may not, because the maps are actually mostly done for the volume 2 as well. We have brought on a Norwegian artist, Svetlana. You can go to the Kickstarter. Now, she obviously hasn't drawn Yggsburgh yet, but we've hired her to do Yggsburgh and the environs, and her art is just jaw-dropping. So check the Backerkit campaign out. That you can see that I put it right up at the top. She is ready to go. She did the cover for Engineering Villages we released about 2 months ago or a month ago,
which is so pretty.
It really.
So
and there's a long storied discussion of what Yggsburgh's appearing in a troll dens. It's both sad and tragic and the whole thing, but I think with Svetlana we're going to get exactly what Gary and I had envisioned back in 2004, and we didn't quite manage to get for print time in the Yggsburgh as it came out. In short, we had a guy map out Yggsburgh beautifully, and he did it in that kind of 3D version, and then he disappeared just at the finish of it. We couldn't get the final copy. It was a lot of resources and stuff. It was kind of sad, so Darlene stepped in and did this really cool rendition of Yggsburgh, but it was never quite what we were looking for. And I know that Svetlana can deliver, absolutely deliver.
Yeah.
I hope I'm saying her name. She's Norwegian. So I hope that I'm not butchering her name too much.
Well, you've got 361 backers apparently, so that's pretty good.
Yeah. And
that is absolutely fantastic. That means we have bumped our Boon Cards up to 5 and 1 official CK Boon card, so that's 6 Boon Cards. If we hit 500 backers, we will do 7 Boon Cards, and we may have to add another level to that. That is absolutely fantastic. That is very cool.
There's a chance we might hit 100,000 before this stream is over.
What?
That
it could happen. We gotta come up with something exciting to do if we hit 100,000.
Right.
Well, I normally eat my daily cheeseburger at 11. I could go get a cheeseburger.
What? We could see you eat a cheeseburger live? Oh my God. Okay, do you hear that, folks? Call your friends. Message them right now. Steve will eat a cheeseburger live when we hit 100K.
There you go.
I don't know how many of us have ever seen
it. And he'll give up Dr. Pepper for a week.
I'm not sure about that. I probably should. I probably should give up Dr. Pepper for a week.
Cheeseburger con. That's what we need.
If we have any, now Chuck normally monitors the questions. If we have any questions, please throw them back up. I've got Chuck deep into.
I've been answering a few, but it's somebody said, how much was it to play this with you and Joe at Gen Con?
That was Martin from Backerkit.
that would be interesting.
I feel like we owe Martin a game. Martin's been so helpful.
I think for $10,000 he'd be willing to do it. So
if we could hit $100,000 by the end of the stream, maybe. Just
Joe
volunteering
Goodman.
to Steve for things.
I assume you're talking about Joe Goodman. I've known him forever. He is a great guy. We've never gamed together. I don't think we've ever gamed together. You know, sadly, I didn't game with Gary, but I did about 4 or 5 board games with Gary, and it was usually on Wednesday when we'd get up there on Sunday just before we left, because I kind of, when we ran the little conventions we did up there, I made a rule that no trolls can play with Gary so long as there were attendees that wanted to play with Gary. Yeah. So me and Mark Sandy never actually played with him. It was kind of sad.
That's what it means when you're running a convention. You doing the stuff for other people's enjoyment, and that's very satisfying. I mean, there's a lot of satisfaction seeing smiles on people's faces. There really is. But you do sometimes miss out on those opportunities, right?
Yeah, you definitely do. Though I got to sit and have Gary make fun of me, you know, frequently over dinner. So that was that made up for it. I will never ever forget. Even his face is kind of etched into my memory. We were sitting on his porch. I can't remember the pun, but he made some pun. Davis laughs. Everybody at the table laughed. I didn't get it. He knew I didn't get it, and he was drinking something, some kind of shot of whiskey, probably that Serbian stuff that I had brought.
Oh, Slivovitz.
Slivovitz, yes. And he was just staring at me, just deadpan staring, waiting for my brain to kick in to see if I was ever going to get his joke. It was really sad and funny all at once.
Yeah.
Ain't that just the way?
He was waiting for the hamsters to kind of get the wheel turning fast enough, and it just didn't happen.
It just never happened.
Welcome in, Mike Moans.
That's hilarious.
Thank you for the raid. Thank you for bringing in your community. How was your stream? Welcome in. You've chosen a great stream to raid into.
Oh, yeah.
It is launch
Look at those
day.
numbers swell up. Hey, everybody.
Welcome in. Do questions from YouTube appear on Twitch? They do indeed. We did have somebody asking here about like timeline for just like this to be released. I don't think we've gone over that yet, have we?
So we have a loose timeline, and I don't want to pin the trolls down. Really, the biggest issue with Castle Zagyg is going to be the maps and the art. Because the first 2 volumes are written, we can, get those into editing tomorrow if we wanted to. But we do need, Peter and I need to sit down and go over all the maps, and they need to line everything up. And I remember very, very, very well that Gary wanted these levels to connect. So we're going to have, if level 3 connects with level 7, we need to make certain we have all of this kind of outlined going forward. So the map's going to be a bit of a struggle. We are hoping to have very, very tentatively these print ready by 4th quarter of this year. My guess is going to be closer to 1st quarter next year. And the hope is to do the second Backerkit campaign about this same time next year, in and around the Gary Con timeframe. And that will be the volumes 4 and volumes 5. Mike is already writing the 3rd level. He's finished level 2. He's writing level 3. So we're deep into the writing on it. That part doesn't have me too concerned. The maps and the art's going to be the biggest issue.
Everything is subject to change and delays, and we never know like how production is going to be impacted by like global stuff happening in the world right now.
I would say, don't say it. Don't say it.
Yeah.
Don't say it.
I will say this: Troller Games prints everything in the United States.
Exactly.
We even make paper is pulped here, and our chipboard is pulped here. Everything is done here. But and that's wonderful. We can control our supply lines to some degree, but what we can't control, as for instance during COVID, because there was so much international trade and disruptions and all that mess, our print time went from 4 to 5 weeks to 12 to 16 weeks. So because so many printers, so many publishers stopped using overseas printers, started using local printers, and that just, there's just so much. We do have our own print shop. That won't help us in this instance because all of these books are going to be hardcovers, and we use Walsworth for our hardcover printing. But we'll see. Who knows?
Yeah.
Well, you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. So
Either way, like we'll be very communicative and like provide updates as often as we can, both if there are like unexpected delays and just to confirm that things are like on schedule. We'll make sure that we're keeping you guys in the loop. We had somebody ask how C&C is different from 5th edition. This might be a good time to kind of go over that because that's the system that we're publishing Castle Zagyg for.
we are publishing as Capitals and Crusades. So, man, I have not played 5th edition. Chuck needs to be here for this question.
I've played 5e.
You want to tackle it, or
I'll take a crack at it. 5e is a great game. 5e is super fun. It features like really technical rules. So with 5e, you're going to be like referencing the rules a lot. You're going to be looking for complete descriptions of what you are and aren't able to do. And that's a great way to learn how to play like tabletop role playing games. However, C&C has more like imaginative rules. So it's going to be a lot more open to interpretation and just like whatever way you want to play that's like fun for your table. We have like optional modular rules that you can swap in and out as is your want. You can adjust your level of crunch for like any like game to game or table to table. And it's just meant to be more like storytelling focused, basically.
the Siege Engine, what Grace is mentioned, the Siege Engine is our attribute check system, and
Yeah.
combat's done like it is in almost all RPGs, D&D RPGs, OGL based RPGs. But the Siege Engine is an attribute check system that lets you resolve anything else, and it's very, very simple. It's very, very loosely based on a concept presented in AD&D way back in the day. If with Wilderness Survival Guide, I think Dungeoneer Survival Guide, but we flipped it. We did. Mac and Davis designed it. It's very, very, very fast. In fact, 5th edition, the early versions of 5th edition used some variants of the Siege Engine as they shifted into their own. They shifted away from skills and feats and into an attribute check system. 3.5 and 4 were skills and feats, and 5.0 is an attribute check system. It's pretty clear that they didn't borrow, but was inspired by, we will say.
Well, you can't you can't copyright or trademark or whatever
Right.
that I guess copyright is a proper term, mechanics, right?
Right.
But I would, I never asked Mike Merles directly, but I think they definitely saw the siege engine or something, and thought, oh, this is a great mechanic, we should riff off of this, and came up with what they're using. But yeah, C&C is more like a polished up AD&D style game with this great siege engine that allows you to do some more checks, and kind of take care of that sort of stuff.
Yep.
But it's faster, right?
Very
Much
Yeah,
faster
and I think that's what it's about. Because I'll be honest with you, I rarely look at the rule book when I'm playing, just because I find it slows it down, and then I don't really want to get rules lawyery with it. And do I make mistakes in rule settings? Of course I do, right? But it's about fun and keeping the game going and the action and that sort of stuff. So sometimes I make a mistake that probably favors the opponent, and other times the player. So it balances out.
It's definitely a much more deadly game, and you can't really break it. You could try. You won't break C&C as a player.
It's very difficult to break because the CK has control of the CLs, right? So they can just kind of adjust things. I have found I actually we started publishing C&C in 2004, 2005, and I didn't start playing it until 2006. I kept playing AD&D. And Mac and Davis, who wrote and created Castles and Crusades, were both like, dude, we're going to stop playing in your game if you don't at least try Castles and Crusades. And then when I made the switch, it really kind of filled in, as an imaginative role player, like I tend to be, it filled in the gaps for anytime the players say something. They just do weird crap all the time that you can't anticipate.
Exactly.
And now I've got, just make an attribute check. There. Maybe that attribute doesn't even make sense for what you're doing. It doesn't matter. Make a wisdom check. I don't know. It gives me something to fall back on.
I just finished my first ever C&C campaign week before last.
Charisma Cat.
With the Charisma Cats. And while terrifying at first to just be like running a new system as like an inexperienced game master, Oh my God, it was the easiest thing ever to adjust to once you get used to the idea that, like, you're not doing it wrong. It's okay if you don't, like, reference the rules for every little thing. Like, if you just facilitate it in a way that's, like, fun. That's really the heart of C&C, is just, like, go with your gut, go with what makes sense, and use the siege engine, and it's C&C, it's the game, it's fine. You're doing it right.
And I would like to point out that one of the reasons, so give a very brief, I won't go into this in too much detail because I can yammer on forever, but when we were back in 2003, I was warned as the CEO of Troll Lord Games that we were publishing third edition at the time, that third edition was going to implode. The bubble was going to burst. And I didn't know anything about business in those days, so I was like, I don't know what you're talking about, John.
You're like, what bubble?
Yeah, what is a bubble? I don't know.
Bubble.
That has something to do with Agincourt or something. 'Cause I was working on my history PhD, but anyway, so John told me you got to do something. So we started talking about doing our own role-playing game. Mac and Davis had created one back in 1999 and 2000, and we started doing that to brace ourselves for what was coming. While we were having that conversation, Gary was finally kind of turning his attention to Castle Zagyg, which is Yggsburgh was his real pride and joy for the role-playing side, but he really was wanting to develop this piece of history and real estate of his. And we got talking on the phone, and after a while he was like, well, it's got to be AD&D-esque. It's got to be like that. And that dovetailed perfectly, because when I was talking to Mac and Davis, they were like, what kind of game, since I'm the main salesman for the company, what kind of game do you want to carry to conventions and promo and all that stuff? And I said, well, it's going to have to be as easy as AD&D. It can't be complicated. I'm not going to read the rule book. You know that. It's not going to happen. So these two kind of things just dovetailed beautifully. And it was really three. Davis and Mac wanted to make an RPG. Gary needed an RPG. I needed something to replace third edition. So it was this perfect storm at the moment. So as we developed Castles and Crusades, all of these rules, everything had to be vetted and approved by Gary so that it could go for Castles, so he could write Castle Zagyg using the C&C rule system. And we did that. Everything was, the first level was Davis and Mac had to write a rule, and it went to me. If I could read it and understand it in the first pass, then it would go to Gary. And if Gary liked it and it fit for what he wanted, then it went into the book. It worked beautifully. I can't remember which rule it was that he rejected. Gary rejected one rule, and I'm pretty sure it wasn't even something Davis and Mac had created. I think it had been created on our forums, because there was a huge discussion about in the creation process of this. We had a lot of it was public. So it worked very, very well. We turned out a game that Gary wanted to write Castle Zagyg for, that I wanted to, to carry to conventions and to showcase to people, and Davis and Mac wanted to read or to write. And it's got that, like Luke was intimating it's got that spirit of Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, which is really, and this is so ingrained into my thinking because of the way I came up in this hobby, is this is your game, take it, go. Here's some kind of loose ideas that you can die if you fall down, that you did whatever, but go. And I took Gary's, whatever he said in the DM's guide, these are guidelines, I can't remember what exactly it is. I took that to heart. And we carried that over to C&C, and you'll see that in Castles and Crusades. And I just had a question on Twitter. If you're playing AD&D, it's going to take next to no effort to convert this to Advanced Dungeons and Dragons.
Right.
Yeah, it's very close. If you wanted to play it as 5e, there'd be a bit of tweaking, because I think you'd have to think of what ability checks am I going to make, or what skills apply here, and probably, it's a lot of that looking up. And then my issue, and I played 5e, had a great time playing it. I write in 5e a lot of times. My difficulty is once you get past about 5th, 6th level, is you really have to keep the party on this artificial timeline to interrupt the long rest program, long rest cycle, which can make you into a superhero pretty quickly. So that's the thing. Whereas I think in the spirit of adventure gaming, where this, the spirit of this embodies Castle Zagyg, it's about, tension, resource management, smart play, picking your battles, and figuring out the best way that each individual in your group can interact and support and maximize each other's abilities so that you all survive and get through successfully, right? And I think for me, that's a more interesting way to play because it requires more thoughtful coordination. And when I roll that die, there's a lot of tension there because if I blow it, and I am a terrible dice roller, so I do that often, it could be pretty bad news. So yeah. But I think there's kind of the differences. But yeah, Castle and Crusade is a lot of fun.
I feel like 5e really helped me understand like game mechanics in general and primed my brain to like learn how to play games and understand rules. But I feel like C&C made me a better game master. I don't feel like I really improved at the storytelling part until playing in a system that empowered me to just like take the reins. It's awesome.
And that's true. I want to point this out. This is one of those things that's difficult to convey, and it's true for players too. It takes players coming over from pretty much any other RPG into C&C a couple of games to realize that there's really, you've got, as a thief or a rogue, you've got these skills, like 5 or 6 skills, whatever, hide, shadows, backstab, whatever. But you can try anything. You can swim a river, climb, you can run, you can try to convince a bartender, you can try anything. You can pick up a cat and try to throw it on the orc. It doesn't matter. You can try almost anything that you want. And there's a way that CK can resolve that. So it takes players also a little while to realize the strength of the system, that there's no real restrictions on what they can do other than, whatever the CK decides the ability is. Chuck, did we get that squared?
Welcome back.
I haven't completely
I answered what? I didn't even listen to what you were saying. If that's what you're asking.
You have a question in Skype. We good?
You just said you would double check.
Okay, I'll double check. Yeah.
I'm waiting to hit a button. So.
I'm going to go mute for a minute and double check this. Okay.
Yeah. So while he's checking that real fast, a couple changes. So everybody's very aware of, be very transparent. Yeah. There is a new tier up that I forgot to turn on for retailers. So if you're a retailer out there, go jump on that. It's a super good discount. Of course, you have to be a retailer. You have to have a tax ID and all that. But it's more than our normal discount. So grab it if you want it for your stores. There's 3 copies for each box set, and it's cheap. Secondly, PDF add-ons on the books were priced wrong. I priced them for our core books at the store, not these bigger books. They should have been $29.99 MSRP, and I had $19.99. So that's been adjusted now because I was wondering why people were like, "It's cheaper just to do this." That was a super mistake. So I fixed that. And then lastly, but not, I'm getting ready to turn on Leather's add-ons right now. So we're going to hit a button. All right. And then we're good to go. Leathers are expensive, but some people want them, so why not?
We're just about 10K away from hitting 100K in within our first 2 hours of the project being live.
That is crazy. That is absolutely.
The 3 leathers are up now as well. So if anybody wants extra leather copies, there you go. Very excited. Can't believe we're finally here, after working on this forever. I'm so happy about it. It's great.
Very, very exciting.
I'm just glad it's finally moving, and we won't go into a lot of it, but Luke, we all owe Luke a very deep debt of gratitude for tireless work behind the scenes for many years to allow this to actually happen. And that so thank you, Luke, for that.
Hey, it's my pleasure. You were there and we both promised my father that we would see this through. So it took us a little while longer to get there, but we are here, and that's the important thing. And so a promise made, promise kept, and fantastic material for so many gamers to really enjoy, which is going to be fantastic for years and years and years to come. There's going to be people playing this and enjoying it, so that's a great blessing.
For sure.
The amount of material that's fixing to land from this thing is stupefying. It's crazy. Someone asked a question. Now, Luke and I are discussing all this stuff as we go forward, and we actually only very superficially discussed this, but in the process of Gary creating Castle Zagyg, the dungeons, the Eastmark, and Yggsburgh, he had brought together a team of writers. In fact, Jeffrey Talanian he cut his teeth on one of these. He wanted to do each of the neighborhoods, I believe it's 21, maybe 24, I can't remember offhand now, of Yggsburgh, so detailed that you knew the baker's name on First Street, right? I mean, it was crazy. So we had done, I want to say 3 and had like another 4 in some various state of completion. So down the line, what may even come more of this could be. All I hear is a giant MMO. Is that what that's called? Is that the right word?
Yeah.
A huge. You could weave your way through Yggsburgh, the Eastmark, the dungeons, and the castle for probably 3 or 4 years of game time. Human game.
That sounds like it actually might fit in a video game format a bit better than, because I mean, honestly, as a DM, I like to have details, but too much detail overwhelms me, right? I want a little bit of freedom of maneuver, right? And I don't want to have to remember if the barkeep's name is Ulfgar, Rolf, Ben, Joe, whatever it is. I want to be able to make that up and just kind of quick, Joe, yes, Joe the baker, right? Whatever it is, because I just, I would unless I had some sort of, app up or something that would pull those things up, and his name is whatever. He walks with a limp, whatever. he has a slight speech impediment, like whatever it is, the flavor. Yeah, but that sometimes is better just to be able to do that extemporaneously. But in a video game, all that stuff has to be fleshed out. So it'd be almost, you could do it that way for those folks who want it, but it would really be slide right into a development of a video game. So we could all be playing Castle Zagyg and walking around Yggsburgh and adventuring in there.
Be beyond awesome. I mean, that would be.
Would you imagine this as like an Unreal Engine type video game, or like a stylized, like more, not cartoonish, but like artistic, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I kind of get what you're saying. What would it look like? I mean, I've seen, so as far as like first person shooter stuff, but honestly, I really did like what was it, Larian Studios that did Baldur's Gate?
Yes.
The way they did that,
Beautiful.
I really enjoyed it. I mean, it was good. I also learned how to make 5e a lot more deadly from playing that game, because when they knocked your character down, when the opponents knocked you down and your character was unconscious, every character would attack you, not the rest of them that were awake. They would kill you, like strike you immediately. And I was like,
just get double tapped.
I was doing that all wrong. I was like, oh, they're down, they'll attack the people who are up. No, they're like just vicious murder monsters who rip the throats out of everyone who's down. or when you're on a bridge, they kick you off of it and you die. I was like, okay, that's also pretty good. Okay, so I did get a few more deadly DMing tips for 5e from Baldur's Gate. But yeah, that sort of interaction, that sort of level of detail, that sort of course it's not open-ended, but widely explorable in a video game is fun. And of course, I think that's why video games, I hate to use the word never, I don't think they will ever replace or overtake tabletop role-playing games, simply because it's fun to be with people and to talk and to make jokes and laugh, all that sort of stuff, which I don't get that same kind of connection with a video game. Even if I'm playing with somebody else, it's not quite the same as that person behind the screen kind of doing the coordination and the conducting and just, making a lame pun or a joke or whatever, or this thing that's been a thread through there and that's personalized to your group and the people that you're there with. And so for me,
and
it'll always be
do everything too.
It'll always be that. This will always be cooler.
A real quick shout out, Martin from Backerkit has been in. I didn't even know you were in the chat, Martin. Thank you. Martin helped set all of this up. He and I have been working tirelessly behind the scenes. So thank you, Martin, and thanks for joining us today.
It's great to see you.
We are loving the Backerkit experience. The setup is. We discovered all 3 of us can be in there working simultaneously. That was amazing. That was absolutely. Chucking
yes.
You better call Grubhub or Uber Eats or whatever it is, because that cheeseburger is going to be needed. Like,
it's coming soon.
You're going to need that cheeseburger.
Wow, we are fixing to break 100,000.
Yep.
I think we can probably do it.
We've made the promise of a cheeseburger at 100K, so live.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can do that. My mother would wash my to beat people eating in front of people.
The people have spoken. That's what they want to see. Is the
They want to see
$100,000.
the cheeseburger. I got one upstairs. I can cook it in like 10 minutes. So.
Lord.
If we hit 100,000 during the stream, I want to like obligate you, Steve, to read that
Yes.
Gen Z intro to TLG script that I wrote.
I forgot all about that. Yes.
That would be awesome.
It's about to be
That would
Brat Girl Summer.
If Greg wants me to eat the cheeseburger, I will eat a cheeseburger.
He's like, don't make me read that. I don't know what Riz is or Sigma or
Skipping
negative
toilet, am I
or
right,
any of that sort of
gamers?
stuff. Yeah.
Oh, let me tell you, my youngest is, I guess he's 19 or 18 or whatever he is. A couple of years ago, he walked in the office and he said a whole sentence of stuff. I was like, I don't know what you said, dude. I have no idea. It was so funny.
Are there any plans to add in virtual tabletop stuff like Foundry, etc. from Western Games?
What was the question?
Are there any plans to add in like a virtual tabletop like Foundry?
I'm not certain we're going to do it into this campaign. The whole VTT side of stuff, we will definitely. We're working with Foundry. We're working with Fantasy Grounds. So all of that will always be on the table. But that material gets so far out of TLG's control because we don't have programmers on staff. And then I'm very reluctant to tie it anymore. We've done it to the past, to tie it anymore to these campaigns, because then we've promised stuff that I don't have control over, and if I don't have control over it, it becomes it's someone else's. And then
And just an additional thing to manage on an already like massive project.
It's a lot. It's a whole lot.
And to be honest with you, when you do one of these, and then there's a million different things that can impact the delivery date. You forecasted, you gave yourself some padding, and then crazy stuff happens, like we were talking about, a mad rush at U.S. printers, etc. Somebody has an emergency and they're drawing your map and they're out of commission for a month or whatever it is. So that's going to happen, but you're right. When you don't even have the skill set at all and you're totally outsourcing that, it's outside of your control. But who gets blamed if you're late?
Yeah, that's right.
Right there. Yep.
Yeah.
It's in the
It's just another gear in the whole process.
In the TLG verse, it's Chuck, because
he's
been championing VT2 so much. I get on Chuck.
But Chuck is right.
I don't champion him as much as I used to.
It's very good to have VTT materials available.
So for
at the
for
very
the older
least,
people out there, you got to do it right, Steve.
Yeah.
Chuck. That's
Thanks, Luke.
You have a much better voice than I do, Luke.
We'll probably have some VTTFs like maps, maybe even it's a coordinate. I'm not sure how the art will turn out for tokens, but we'll see. I just don't know how it's going to end up in the wash. We really don't know, because we plan these things, to be read in your hands, and then to port to digital is always a challenge. It's always a challenge. I would love to have everything we have on VTT and in the store is piecemeal, but there's only one guy here that's working 40 hours a night already for the Troll Lords, so no. But that's it in the show. It's just a challenge, it really is. And then of course you get it all out there, and then the software breaks. That's another problem.
Isn't that the thing with coding? Like, I don't know anything about coding. From everything I've heard, though, it's like stuff just stops working and then it's working again, but you didn't change anything and you don't know why, and it's like magic, I've heard. Emote was asking, will there be a new poster-sized map of Yggsburgh and Eastmark?
So both, yes. Svetlana, if you go to the campaign and look at it right now, scroll down just a little bit, you're going to see 3 color maps. Those were done by Svetlana. Those are for her own, I think, world. I'm not sure where they come from, but so we're going to do, that's the style. She's going to redo Yggsburgh entirely and the Eastmark entirely, and those will be poster maps for sure. That's one of the reasons we decided to go, just to clarify, because I'm not 100% certain this is clear from the pictures and the discussion. Each of these hardcover books will be put in its own box. So they will come in a game box, much like, so it'll be like standard box you're used to. This is the old Upper Work, so it'll be a box. Inside that'll be the hardcover book, whether it's the Citadel or Ruins. Each one will get its own box and its own maps. I think But Luke figured it out faster than I did. It's 2, 4, and 8. It's 2 maps in the Citadel, 4 maps in Ruins, and 8 maps. Man, I'm just my brain. And what is the other one? I can't remember. What is the third one called? Cellars. The Cellars. Good Lord.
Cellars.
Yeah, Chuck and I had a whole thing. For some reason, I inverted
Oh my God.
of the Ruins into Castle, and I started, for some idiotic reason, like Thursday, started referring it to Volume 2 as the Castle, and it's not. It's the Ruins, and confusing Chuck completely.
Yeah.
He was like, "Is there another book? What's going on?" I'm not sure what's happening.
I was like, what are you talking about? Whoa.
But,
It's a lot.
I see trouble.
That's right, Lord Gasumba. We will see you at GaryCon. We can't wait to be there. It's going to be awesome.
So excited. Who in chat's going to GaryCon? Who are we going to see? Trouble will be there in spirit. Will
Maybe.
Grogu be at GaryCon?
Davis?
He'll be there. Come on.
Oh, so excited.
You guys come up to our hall. We've got all kinds of demo games going on. We're going to be doing all kinds of giveaways and stuff. It'll be a lot of fun. Come by and see us. Be down at the vendor hall too.
If you've never played C&C, GaryCon is the place to try it. Definitely sign up for a game.
120 events there. So
And we're running demos most days during the day, all day. You can just wander in, and you know, if you just want to see what it's like, we'll give you something to take back to the booth. And if you want a little discount off, I'll give you one. So,
Grace,
Heather, let's do it.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Grace, would you check your Skype, please?
I will check my Skype.
That's another thing that's fixing to change around TLG. We got
yes,
Skype.
it is.
Yeah. Yeah, you're
Me
gonna
and
have,
Jeremy talked
Did you
about it last
clarify?
night, late in the night, about it.
yeah, I think in May Skype goes away, so you're gonna have to jump ship and get on with these newfangled systems. Yeah.
Microsoft Teams.
Yeah. I know you just got off of ICQ, so it's gonna be a big change for you. Does anyone even know what ICQ is anymore? That used to
I've
be like
never
a
heard
chat.
of it.
I
It was a
remember. I've
chat.
still got my handle. My
You
God.
still got your ICQ handle. It was totally text based, but and you just get on and talk to. Yeah.
Do you remember IRC, Luke?
No.
I
No.
used to run a lot of IRC. But that was the first early versions of online lobbies where you could hang out and play games. I played Baldur's Gate when it was released on IRC.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
God, that's
So-
been a long time ago.
Grogu's protesting. He doesn't like to be awake before about 10
Oh,
o'clock.
yeah, he's like Chewbacca down here. He's laying down here asleep. He refuses to even acknowledge we're streaming or anything.
Yeah, yeah. But exciting news at GaryCon, we will have Grogu plushies for sale.
Oh, that's cool.
So
Yeah.
Grogu plushie with a little removable wizard hat,
Stop.
and
Oh my
and if you come to a signing with Grogu and I, he will give you his autograph. So on
I'll
a
have to get one.
certificate of authenticity. So
My granddaughter's got to have one of those, Luke. I'll get one. It's great.
I think Trouble's
great.
got to have one of those. I
While
gotta get
supplies last,
a
so
little
only a
Grogu
few.
buddy.
Little disclaimer.
Yeah. My wife just Skyped and said, "You need to get Red." That's my dog, and my lap. Red is I don't know what he is. A huge.
What is he?
He's a
hound.
very good boy. He's a 100% good boy.
He's a
Yeah,
great.
he's a good boy.
But he's a mix of Lord knows what. But if I pick that dog up,
He's like 140 pounds.
well, he just knows that's fight mode, and we just start fighting. He and I immediately go fighting. He bites me, jumps on me, knocks me down. It's just pure fight mode.
Question for you from the Classified, I like that name. Will we get any answers to the riddles of the castle that Gary's players never solved? I know nothing about that. That's definitely.
I'll have to be more specific. We'll have to get Jeff on the line or Mike Stewart on the line for that one. But interestingly enough, everybody, Peter Bradley. Peter, I'm not sure if your mic is on or not, but Peter Bradley has joined us as a quick introduction to Peter. For those of you who don't know, Peter started working with Troller Games back in 2002 or 2003. I don't know, a long time ago. His art is on covers forever and a day. He did the art works. He did just all kinds of stuff. And Peter was working very closely with Gary and Davis on the maps, taking Gary's original notes. I believe, if I remember, Peter, you can correct me if I'm wrong, the maps, Gary sent them to Davis, and then Davis converted them and then sent them to you for actual drawing. Is that right?
Yeah, that's mostly how it worked. Is this working? Because I had to unmute everything.
Yeah, you're good.
Oh, yeah. The Muppet Show has arrived. Yeah, we did a lot of back and forth. I got these little sketches. I've got a good stack of them still sitting on my computer. The only thing I'm not quite sure about is where to line some of it up, because there's stairs that go here and there. So it doesn't sit on top of each other. So it kind of goes here and here and here and here. So
that's what we're going to do. And I may actually, because Peter's got so much work stacked up on him for the next 6 years or so.
Oh my God.
it's someone's excessively complicated covers. It's simple cover.
He's making a jab at me there.
Yeah, a little bit.
But we may bring in, for those of you who don't know, Ernie Gygax and Benoit wrote Armorial Tomb, and we released that a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, I can't remember now. And Benoit did all of the maps. And this is a fantastic, it's kind of a teaser for what Castle Zagyg is going to be. But one of the coolest things that Benoit did when he drew the map for that, he drew this kind of, what do you call it, Chuck, a cutaway? He drew this for it so that you can look at the tomb itself and see where everything is. You can see that, an example of that on the Backerkit page now. Now, I've reached out to Benoit to see if he will do a similar one for Castle Zagyg to give Peter kind of a break in that, because Gary did give us a schematic. I've got a schematic of how all this goes, and I've got a long word file on the depths of each level, so we know how deep each level goes and kind of how they're arranged.
I think I had something like that. I just don't know where it is. Files were moved.
Yes, it's been a lot of archival work around here in the past months.
You were talking about the city earlier, and I found all of those maps. Now, if you stick them all together, it's going to be one really big sheet, like about 8 feet wide. So bear that in mind.
That would be absolutely awesome.
So I think you've got, it's can be Yggsburgh wallpaper that you can put up.
That's
Thank
a
you.
idea.
Thank you. That's a free idea.
Honestly looking forward to finishing it, because I like drawing complex things, and it's just, there's a lot of little pieces in here.
Just as a heads up, we are $200 away from 100K.
Under $200 away from cheeseburger time.
That's
Burger's
right.
time for burger.
Woo!
Steve can send me one.
Yeah, I was thinking he's gonna get it also. We're all gonna get burgers and eat them on stream.
Let's all
That'd be
get burgers.
fantastic.
Oh, man. Let's do
I
it.
can get you Uber Eats contacts, and you can send them this way.
Ding, 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 ding. We did it. We did it.
Oh my God, it's over 100K.
459 backers. That is absolutely insane. Now,
Thank you all
I will
so
go
much.
make my cheeseburger, but it'll take like 15 minutes. If the chat wants me to. Otherwise, I can have a Dr. Pepper, which I don't. So what I do, Jeremy always makes fun of me because he knows more about my eating habits than most people. I do the same stuff every day.
Schedule.
3 pieces of dried toast in the morning. That's what I eat for breakfast. I have a cheeseburger at 11. And I have that cheeseburger at 11 in the morning because I don't have my first Dr. Pepper until I eat lunch. So I eat lunch early so I can have my Dr. Pepper early. so I eat my cheeseburger, have a Dr. Pepper, and a Milky Way. And that's my eating habits for the day.
There is an arcade bar directly down the street from where I live, and they've got cheeseburgers, and it's calling. It's calling our name.
Yeah, burgers are delicious. Perfect combination of food.
Let's see.
I seek out cheeseburger places.
I got a couple more questions here. Some people are wanting to know if you could talk about the leathers, what they're going to look like. Are they made of belay skin? What are they going to be like, the leathers?
They will be genuine leather. That's the first thing. We haven't picked the color. They offer 5 colors. I want to say it's black, a type of maroon, a brownish maroon, green. There's a bluish color, and then there's another color I'm forgetting. There's 5 colors in it that they offer in that. It is genuine leather. We will have gold embossing on it, and like as not, if I can find one. So I'm a bit of a bibliophile. I love books, and I love having them done properly. I'll be back just in a second to tell you what they'll look.
He said it was black, brown, maroon, blue, and green.
I think so.
All right.
Someone had asked, there's been a lot of people asking for us to do it in Corinthian leather, you know?
Yes, the Corinthian leather.
I was going to say, yeah. Does that come? Can we get that upgraded to a Napa leather?
You need to make it. You need to make it green and just call it troll leather.
Oh,
Now we're talking.
I like that.
Troll leather. Now that's
Troll
not a bad
leather.
idea. I like that. I'm digging that.
You
It's
guys tell us what
I'm-
you think. I just started a poll, so you guys vote on colors.
Rich
I don't
I'm,
know what
par-
we'll do.
I'm
but-
just partial to the color green, really. So
What
Steve
we-
knows
I love-
that too much.
Yes. So what we will do, it'll be embossed like this. It'll have double embossing on it.
So pretty.
This is one level of embossing. This is a second level embossing. The spines will have hubs along them.
Oh my.
And Peter will do us a nice Castle Zagyg-esque format.
I have to think. I have to think of something cool because we gotta get away from the doorway I designed 100 years ago.
Yeah. We've
These
used
ones
it,
won't-
we've used it
well,
a
these
couple-
ones repair themselves if they're troll leather. That's what the questions are.
So it will be a beautifully done book with hubs. And I believe our stretch rewards are going to call for a ribbon in there and end sheets in there.
Mhm.
That's right. Oh, the end sheets are nice. I love those in the Hermit. They turned out beautiful.
That hermit turned out
Yeah.
stunning.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Beautiful book.
I think we're gonna
Couple
need
more questions
stretch
from-
rewards, though.
Yeah, of
Just
course,
saying.
as always.
Just
Alan
saying.
Rowe asks, will there be a GaryCon stream? Probably not, Alan. It's really hard to stream from there, especially if you're down in one of the depths.
Yeah.
But we will most certainly be recording some of this stuff and putting it up.
I have a thought on that. Hey,
Oh.
if you guys have TikTok accounts, go follow Trollord Games on TikTok, because if we can hit
true.
1,000 followers, then hey, we'll totally go live at GaryCon on TikTok. But we need
Great.
1,000 followers. We're at like 988 right now.
I knew we were
Oh.
getting close, so we're almost there.
So who's gonna do the dance, some dances on TikTok for us if we
Steven
get to
Chuck.
1,000?
Steven,
Oh,
I know that's
Wait,
old.
whoa,
I know
whoa, whoa.
TikTok's not about dances anymore. I just want to make the joke.
You drug us all the way in there.
He's doing them. He has a private TikTok if you can find. I think you may count, but he did a lot of those dances on there. So gotta get there.
He's
Sorry,
the
but
one for that, for sure.
we're all gonna
My
wear bell
brain's crying in
bottoms.
the corner from that visual. So
So another question that was popped into chat earlier that I didn't get a chance to ask was, will Zagyg now officially being aired, or where is it located, etc.?
So it'll officially be its own setting. So we're, it's the Eastmark folio, blah, blah, blah. But we're going to put notes in there how to place it in both aired. Probably, I don't know what we'll do about Greyhawk, but we'll do something clever about Greyhawk, Luke's own setting. So we'll put notes in there to kind of help you guide to place it where you want to put it.
anywhere that has a river with a U bend. You just need it.
Yeah, you really just need. So Yggsburgh is upriver. I think it's 50 miles upriver from a huge metropolis, I believe. And then the castle is like 10 miles away or something. So you really just need two cities in a river that has a confluence.
That's it. In fact, when I first saw it, it made me think of Pittsburgh. It looks just like it. I was like, what the hell? This is crazy.
Noble Shield, hopefully.
The community has spoken. They want green leather tomes.
Yeah.
Take that into
Green leather.
consideration.
Troll leather. It's got to be troll leather.
Troll
There-
leather.
there you go.
Genuine.
I love it. We'll do it. Just someone, please, in 6 months when Walsworth asks me, remind me that we're doing them in green.
I'll remind you. I remember stuff. Most of it.
Forgotten.
Yggsburgh is fantasy Pittsburgh.
There you
There
go.
we go.
Can other Pittsburghites confirm?
Isn't Jason from Pittsburgh? No, Philadelphia. I can't.
He lives in Pittsburgh, yeah.
Yeah, I can never remember where you people live.
You
You're all-
people.
My mom was about to be live, so I had to.
Only 11 people voted for green. Well, there you go. Yeah, it's an easy carryover.
I still have that very cool shirt that Steve got me a bunch of years ago. That was all green with the troll logo on it. You need to get me more of those. They're getting a little thready.
Nice. Yeah, I needed some nice polos. What I need.
Aaron has a cheeseburger related question.
Uh-oh.
Have you ever had a cheeseburger at Lewis's Lunch, located in New Haven, Connecticut? They claim to be the place that the hamburger was invented.
I have not.
Mm, that's interesting.
I was in Connecticut not too long ago. Had I known that, I
I
would have
thought that
gone.
was in Germany.
I was
But-
going to say, I'm pretty sure that the people in Hamburg would take issue with that.
Take issue. They might be a little nonplussed about it.
You need one made out of Hamburg steak, like the
But-
Japanese do.
But I will say this: the best cheeseburger I've ever eaten is in Tatum, New Mexico. It is just a brilliant burger. Go out there. It's a town of like, I don't know, 300 people. It's in the middle of nowhere. Go if you can. Fantastic burger. I drove out there, 3 years ago? I think I told my son I wanted to.
4, yeah.
We got in the car and we drove to Tatum, 11 hours there. We stayed the night in Roswell, went over to Tatum, had the cheeseburger, and drove back. We did 22 hours of driving so I could have a cheeseburger.
Didn't you say that you like told the waitress there? You were like, yeah, we drove here just for this burger. And they were like, okay. They
That
didn't
was
care.
almost the best part. We told him we drove 22 hours for this cheeseburger, or we're going to by the time we got home. He was like, okay. It was awesome.
King Kothar said, I tuned into this very special broadcast, and I find Stephen talking about New Mexico cheeseburgers again.
It's the New Mexico cheeseburger.
That's right. Real quick.
Yeah.
We are, for folks that just joined us, we are doing a giveaway over here on Twitch. It's twitch.tv/trollergames. Give us a follow. X-Space Report raffle if you want to get on the raffle for some coupons for the store. And Grace, where are we at on the backer thing? I've lost track on the early birds.
We are at 471 backers and over $100,000.
Okay.
Pretty
Wow, we're doing
excellent.
great.
And here I was thinking we weren't going to fund this thing at all. Man, oh man.
Yeah, you were being negative this morning.
You know me.
So
Negative Nelly.
sometimes these can be a surprise about how well they do. There's a couple of them that came out of nowhere a while back. That did.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Bam, you know?
people have been asking about this for as long as
Yeah.
I've been employed here. Like,
We've
at
been
least
talking
once
about
a
it
week.
forever.
Yeah, I mean, this has
Forever and a
been, I think, our most highly anticipated project, at least since I've been here.
Oh, we ever since the licenses, whatever happened in 08 happened,
Yeah.
probably about once every 2 weeks, we would get an email, a DM. Hey, you think you can get back to work on such and such? So it's been 15 years of people.
I know I'm looking forward to it because I want to finish all these maps off.
Yeah, that's true. You were in the middle of trying to finish them before. Yeah.
Well, no, I just like
Right.
drawing complicated things, and
Oh.
that's, leaving things unfinished is like a mosquito bite. It just doesn't go away.
Oh, I see.
You wanna get it
Completionist.
done. Yeah.
Yeah, and just to for those of us just joining, Peter was working, he and Davis and Gary and Jeff were working really hard on all of the maps kind of simultaneously back in 04 through 08. So Peter was deep in it when things shifted underneath us.
Well, yeah, I've been sort of unearthing things or stuff I've been working on and kind of reminding myself because there's some scenes I want to draw from the books, and I sometimes need to look at the maps to see where the streets go.
Yeah. I'm trying to find it. Can we get images up on the stream, Grace? I know you're running this
Yeah.
one.
If you'll just send
Find
me
the.
an image.
You'd know it a lot better than how to do it.
While you're looking for that, Finn Arvin has a great idea. When will we see Castle Zagyg shirts for sale? I would wear the shit out of a Castle Zagyg t-shirt. That sounds
That-
awesome.
That I can't answer yet. I'm going to find this map. Oh, Lord have mercy.
While everybody's listening in, we did do an add-on. There is an add-on, a new add-on that I added to there just a minute ago for the 3 core books with a little bit of a discount. So if you want to get all 3 and get into CNC, this is the cheapest place to do it right now.
Now we're talking about Culvers and cheese curds in chat.
I know I saw that
They're so
discussion
bad.
in there. I was ignoring it because it makes me hungry, and I'm fasting, so I'm overlooking one.
I like their ice creams. They're like custard things.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's a
Culver's?
good place to eat.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Culver's got some good food.
They used to do concrete malts that were really good. Like a blackberry concrete malt was really good. My wife and I used to get those like 22 years ago when we first met. That was like our little
Wow.
dessert of choice. Yeah.
That's cool. I remember those vaguely years ago when I was up. I think maybe the first time I went to GaryCon, maybe 7 or something. Someone took. I'd never been to a Culver's,
Yeah.
and I was just like, "Oh, this is really cool." It's an interesting. Now I go all the time with Todd and Misty, so they always
Sure.
make us go by this.
Yeah. The important things: Castle Zagyg and good cheeseburgers. Right? These are-
Good cheeseburgers.
You gotta-
Maybe
you
we should have a cheeseburger stand out in front of Castle Zagyg on a t-shirt.
I'm gonna
I
say,
mean,
yeah. Maybe there's an entrepreneurial kobold out there or something making cheeseburgers.
right?
Got a little stand out there, and he's trying to say better than the Outs In Burger, right? Because somebody was claiming that Culver's was better than In-N-Out Burger, which He's wrong. Sorry, that's inaccurate.
I've never had one.
Wait,
don't
what's
know.
better than In-N-Out? Or which one is or isn't?
Culver's.
In-N-Out,
I've never had one.
Culver's is Midwest, but they're getting all over the place. And In-N-Out is
Yeah.
mostly West Coast. But it's pretty simple. They only make burgers and like fries, so they keep everything fresh and that sort of thing. So, and reasonably priced. So
That's the important thing.
for fast food, it's pretty darn good.
Yeah.
Steve can order me a Five Guys if he wants to. There's one just down the road.
I won't say anything about Five Guys. Jason, who's in the stream, gets very upset if I don't. I don't pay proper homage.
Well, there's a lot of delivery around here, but you can go into Leeds proper and you can get all the street food you could want. Me and my friend Abby went wandering around on Saturday to just go sample the street food and found a bench. Local art group I can hang out with.
This file is defeating me. Just so that people know, one of the interesting things about Castle Zagyg, when we were working on it, like I said, a lot of the material was going through Davis and then Peter and whatnot, and then the license got pulled in 2008. Stuff would come to me kind of in a finalized form. So I probably got 60% of the unfinalized, and then the rest of the finalized. It would trickle in my way. It's because Gary would send me some stuff. He had a question, or Davis would, whatever. How are we going to print this? Blah 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 blah. So a lot of it went to Davis, and when the licenses got pulled, we were told to take all of this stuff. So Davis put all of his material. He took all of his material on CD-ROMs and just dumped it into this giant mail bin thing, which I retrieved years later from his yard. I just happened to be over there walking through the yard, and it was raining, and I was going to his workshop, and he was in the workshop painting miniatures, and I saw these tubs sitting outside, and it's just raining. And I thought, what is this crap? And I saw these CD-ROMs, and the first one I saw, it said Gary Gygax, Castle Zagyg. I started, "Are you kidding me?" So I grabbed all of this crap, and it was all the original CNC material, just stuff from 2001 to 2006 or whatever. That he was just, I don't know what he was going to do with it. So I had to take all of that and take all those CD-ROMs and dump them into a giant file. So I had all of Gary's, Peter's, mine, and Davis's, and it's not been properly organized as of yet. About 60% is properly organized, but it is a lot of stuff. And it's interesting, like Gary sent me, he had what's called the Bible. Now, there's two things. There's his binder, which I think was the Bible, but also he wrote all of this stuff down, and he wrote it in, I'd have to dig the file out, but it's like the Bible, Castle Zagyg Bible Volume 2, and if you open that, that's his first pass at it. Then there's a Volume 2.1, then there's a Volume 3, and a Volume 3.1. And all of them are slightly different. So I have to go through and I can't delete anything because I don't want to, we can't go back, right? So I got to make sure that everything, so it's just reading stuff and making sure each thing contains the stuff that the previous file did, that, so it's an interesting environment. It's fun, actually. I did all that study to be a historian, so this is what I'm supposed to be doing anyway. So it works.
Question. I had a couple people ask this question. I don't think it's on there. With the other crowdfunding campaigns, we always had to put a date in there, but I don't think we have. No one can find the date of when it's supposed to be fulfilled, which is actually advantageous to us. But
it's 24 days left, so this ends on April 5th, I think, or something like that.
but there's usually like something else as an estimate of when it'll be fulfilled or shipped.
Oh, I'm sorry. When we're going to ship it?
Yeah, it doesn't say nowhere on there. That's interesting. I thought
this is very, very tentatively scheduled to ship or to be completed by fourth quarter this year. But there's a whole lot of factors that are going to play into that. My guess is it's going to be closer to first quarter of next year. We would like it to be in the mail before we launch the second campaign to wrap this stuff up.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I still cannot.
I'm not even
driving me crazy.
I don't know. There's interesting. There's nowhere on here that says that place to put that. That's very interesting.
I think we normally put on our Kickstarter campaigns when we're going to fulfill it. I think that what Kickstarter does, Kickstarter has
it estimates. Yeah.
They have you put in an estimate for each pledge level when this pledge level will deliver.
That's right.
That's
true.
Yeah, so that's a Kickstarter thing that we but we've never really put in our, this is this project. This is when it's going to deliver. We will give you a rough graces in a couple of times. We will we have an obnoxious level of communication with backers that I hear it all the time. Could you quit updating so much? You update. We will keep you informed of what is going on.
Yeah, we're good about updates. I will say that. Of all the Kickstarters I've ever backed and other crowdfunding projects, this company here does the best. We're on top of it. I like that about us. Communication's key.
Let me
When
post
people
the
are giving
link
their
on
money to you,
Twitter
you know?
as well.
And if we become annoying, just turn us off.
That's right. Just turn it off.
Unfortunately, Trollords has all 3 of my emails, so I get updates on all 3 of them
Yes.
That happens
several
sometimes.
times a day. It's like,
We will hound you, Peter.
That's right. There's no escape.
Question:
That's fine.
Are there controls in place to make sure that the visuals of the 2 campaigns will match?
You're looking at the controls.
Absolutely.
That's us, right?
Oh,
Absolutely. The biggest control is right there with Peter Bradley because he will be doing all of the maps for it.
well, I'm going from all of the stuff that I did before because I got very detailed in trying to work out the design of the castle. I've got a pencil drawing. I'm working on it for one of the other covers of like it from the distance. And I got a little inspired by by Edinburgh Castle. And then there's another one that's not too far north of me where they make a lot of old mead that sits on a kind of the sort of ridge like the castle does. So I'm using that as my visual, but I've already drawn a visual from different angles of what the castle looks like. So I'm staying with that.
Yeah, we will, and even with the quality of books, so all of the books will be printed. We've been working with Walsworth since 2005, I think. So all of the books will be printed at Walsworth. It'll have the same quality. We do all of our books hardcover, Smythe sewn with a headband and tight back bounding, which means the headband is glued to the headboard or to the spine board itself. So there'll be super high quality books. All of our books are done that way. We'll continue doing this with all of the Castle Zagyg and all of the Gygaxian Fantasy World stuff that we're doing. All of that will be done that way. The boxes are being made by a Brimar Boxes, which is located in Ohio. They've been in business for over 2 decades, I think they said. So we'll be able to maintain a quality so that all 5 of these boxes and all 5 of these books look just alike, same size, the whole 9 unit. Grace, I'm going to drop. I finally found it 5 minutes before the stream ends. I found this map. I honestly, I so rarely do this, and I hate to do this. I cannot remember the gentleman's name who drew this map. He is the original artist for the Yggsburgh map. This was before he eventually he left. We don't know where he went. I don't know what happened to him.
Was it Clayton?
Was it Clayton? I can't. You know who I'm talking about because
Yeah, I know who you're talking about, but I think his name was Clayton.
Okay, and
somehow he just went.
He just went, and it really. I mean, because this map had that nice 3D look to it. So Grace is going to put this up. This is the city of Yggsburgh with the Alps on the
No.
And this is what we're going to
He's a
have.
different guy.
I'm going to revisit and redo this. I'll send her this file, and she'll build her city off of that. So you can check out Yggsburgh, at least what it looked like then, and compare it to Svetlana's work, and you'll see what it's going to look like soon.
One more question. This is a really good one from Brad. Can a pledge be upgraded, like to the leather books? And if so, what will be the deadline?
Yes, I'm going to say absolutely yes, and the deadline will be up until the last few minutes of the campaign for sure.
I think you're also able to upgrade and add things like once we shift to like fulfillment, or is that wrong?
Maybe.
Yes.
It's according if we have one or not for it. I'm assuming we probably will. Like we didn't do one for
Yes.
armor, I think.
We will
Right, so
definitely we will fulfill through back.
If you want
that's
the
right.
leathers, though,
Forgot.
just to be safe, might want to go for it now. Just to be
Yeah,
safe.
they'll be limited for sure. We don't buy deep stock of leathers.
Yeah.
They're so expensive.
Brad had said he's between jobs right now, so the payment plan really helped him out a lot. And Brad's helped me write Night of the Revenants, which is a module that'll be coming out at GaryCon.
Ooh.
So that'll be fun. It features a little Wanda Orcus action and some stuff like that. But I enlisted Brad into the California National Guard way back. I can't even remember what year it was, but I was like
Really?
a lieutenant. I was a lieutenant, so it was a long time ago.
That is very cool.
That's awesome.
But yeah, so I don't know, it was 2007 or something or 6. It was a long time ago. 2006. He just told me 2006. It was a long time ago. So yeah, I might have been a brand new captain. I think I got promoted in June of 2006. So maybe.
That's cool.
Sobriety not guaranteed, Dirty Dwarf, huh? Okay, well, it is Gary Con.
That is so funny, Luke. Thinking about I've got memories. I can't remember. It was Gen Con 01 or 02.
Yeah.
You, me, Davis, and Ernie were on
Yes.
a long hike around town.
Trying to find some restaurant or something. Man, we went for it. That was like, we
Yeah.
were up for a minute. That was like a 5-mile walk to this place.
It was. Ernie could put some miles behind him now.
He could.
Let's see. Maester Zagyg PDF releases for Armory and Mounts. Yes, they went out through the Kickstarter messaging system. I sent everybody out messages last week. If for some reason you don't see that, just email us here and I'll get you the link. Don't worry about it if you didn't see it. It's just we did that a little differently because we're just trying to hone things down and keep them having me spend, 40 hours trying to dig down people's links for emails and stuff. It's insane. So that's a
joy.
Yeah. Declassified asks, any chance of ever seeing a CNC Castle Zagyg TV series? Dun, dun, dun.
Who knows what the future holds?
Who knows?
Could happen.
Honestly, the key is at this point for anything from video games to shirts to whatever is for this project to demonstrate how large the community is. That really, this is an extremely important project. And I'm not just pitching it because it's Stroller Games and we want to get more people backing in there, but because I would love to see this. Gary and I are working on this in depth for all kinds of different stuff. And I would love to see this all come about. And this opening is showing us the way. I mean, this is absolutely beautiful at $107,000 in 2 hours.
Yeah. This
That's fantastic. And you're right. Anything for larger products to happen takes a lot of money to develop a video game or to shoot even a pilot and get all that done. It's at least hundreds of thousands, if not millions, right? To get that sort of stuff done. So, you definitely have to show that there's people who want to see this product.
I could do it on my iPhone, but it probably wouldn't.
Almost as good. We could do one of those 16-bit graphic games on our on the phone.
Ask the people trying to do Octa Slayer as a movie how that went down.
I think we should just
Slayer's a classic, though.
Well, no, they were trying to do a sequel.
Oh. Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it kind of went.
You depressed Luke just a little bit, Peter, with that news.
Yeah, it's like,
well, there's a comic book. There's now a comic book done by the authors, but they were trying to do another movie, and they had too much ambition and tried to push too high.
Yep. So actually, one way to do stuff is to do a graphic novel based on it, because that'll help basically storyboard out either a lot of your video game cutscenes or the TV/series. So, and it also builds a wider audience and that sort of stuff. So those are things that I'm sure it's very exciting about our Backerkit, about this tabletop RPG product. We can go into how to get it into graphic novel, into a video game, and then we too can have Castle Zagyg, like the series, kind of like The Witcher. We'll get Steve in a wig.
There you go.
Steve needs to play a known bard like Scanlan from the
Hunting for the Magic Burger. That'll be the whole thing.
He's
what was it? Vox Machina.
Vox Machina. Yeah. We can get Chris P to animate it, man. I got connections. So, as long as we have a character based on Steve with a white wig and a Dr. Pepper, then I think we can't go wrong.
And you have to drown at least one other character.
And yes, there you go.
Yeah.
We kind of have a mock-up of that somewhere, right, Steve?
Yeah, actually, Joe put me in one of his books somewhere as a troll.
The cover behind Steve's head is sort of based on him, Davis, and Todd. This one over here.
Oh yeah, no, cover of the Monsters and Treasures, the original cover is me, Davis. That's one of my favorite pieces you've ever done too. I love that piece, and not because it's me, but it's hanging on my wall. Peter's original, just awesome.
My sense of humor gets the better of me sometimes.
Destroy something and end the stream, and it won't work. So.
Man, almost 500 backers and over
insane.
Nearing.
Did we go through where did we end up with the early bird on the Boon Card? So did we bust all the way through that?
The next one is at 500 backers. Everyone will get 7 Boon Cards and 1.
Oh my gosh! Already?
Two
wow.
backers.
Two people.
9.
2 people, that's it? Oh, wow.
That's it.
And that's supposed to be 48 hours. I guess we better come up with something else.
We probably don't want to have like 100 boon cards.
Probably not, because then that means I'm going to have to make a lot more shit around here.
No, the CKs will rebel against us.
What about
Well, they
Bane
will. There'll
cards?
be some.
Do
What's that?
What about Bane cards?
Bane cards.
That's interesting.
The nefarious
Yeah.
counterpart.
That's the one for the CKs.
Yeah. Well,
The camera.
speaking of winding down the stream, it is about that time. It's
It
about
is.
time we get out of here. Do we want to resolve the raffle and then maybe toss a raid?
We
to
do.
somebody?
Yep, I'll resolve the raffle, and real quick, so everybody knows, me and Steve will be back, or he'll be back on this evening with our regular Q&A stream. You guys come by. We might even do some extra special giveaways. We don't normally do giveaways on that stream, but I'd like to, and celebrate Zagyg, you know,
Yeah.
and
All
have
right,
success.
I think you got to hold on to at least 500. I know it could be a while longer.
We might make.
Got
We're
one
one
left.
person away.
One
one of
person?
you's got-
Oh my
Oh,
goodness!
and there we
500.
go. We hit it.
Boom.
Ding ding ding.
That is amazing.
Wow, that is amazing. You guys are
Incredible.
rock so much.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you all so much.
All right, I'll get over here and get our giveaway started. So if you've not gotten in a giveaway, you have to come to twitch.tv/TrollorGames. Give us a follow, Yggsburgh Point raffle. And then I'm going to pull these prizes. There'll be a link that pops up in the Discord or in the chat for our Discord. Obsidian Risk Scott there will be in the Discord, and he'll give you your coupon codes. Just DM him or ask in chat, and he'll hand you them off to you. He's the keeper of the codes. And just want to thank everybody for coming out and hanging out with us. This has been quite the launch, actually.
Huge
Very
thank
good,
you to
very good.
everyone who backed, to everyone who showed up with a raid and followed this channel, everyone who
Right.
made the decision to tune in. You could have spent your time anywhere, and thank you for spending it celebrating here with us. We've been so excited for this for, I think it's fair to say, years.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh,
sure.
it's been a saga.
yeah.
There's been times where I thought it would never happen and that sort of stuff, and then there's been some very celebratory moments, and here we are. So, yeah, like I said, a lot of things had to line up in the stars to make this happen, and it did. And so it's fantastic, and I think you're going to break 110,000 here before you even get off. Before you get
We're blessed. We're real blessed.
Hey, Luke, you can give us the full story, but
not now, not the time.
not the time.
All right, I'm going to close these entries out. I'm going to do these giveaways because if I don't, I'm going to get yelled at about cheeseburger time.
Yes.
Cheeseburger time.
Way past cheeseburger.
All right, here we go. All right, this will be the first couple of entries. Will be for some 3 of them will be for $10 off PDF products on our store. These first 3 will be, and they will be. Let's see, Narg Firefist.
Hey.
You've won a $10 off PDF coupon code. Aaron,
Congrats, Aaron.
222,000. Is that right? I think I said that right.
Legends.
And last but not least, Tux Lafitte has won as well. Congrats, you 3 winners on the $10 off. Our next pull will be for some $15 codes, just straight off the store. $15. I'm going to pull 2 of those. First winner is going to be Winter. Winter's won before. Congrats, Winter. Congrats on that. Excellent.
Legends.
And let's see. Joining him is Kenny Yeager. There you go, Kenny. Another regular in the chat.
You can work out
Fantastic.
in.
Just barely. And let's see. And then last but not least, I have 2 more giveaways to do. These are for $25 off. Both of these are. All right. So these are the big ones right here. And this is for thanking you guys for hanging out with us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
First winner is going to be Killpack. Congrats, Killpack. You'll just jump in our Discord and hunt up Scott. He'll get you the code. And then last but not least, by no stretch of the means, is Eltrin. Eltrin, congrats. Winner to you as well for $25. Fantastic, everybody. Man, that was great. And I think Grace is going to set us up with a raid. Reminder, we'll be back this afternoon at 4:30 Central. Shooting some more bull, giving away some stuff, hanging out, and seeing where we're at with the whole funding thing. So, and answering any of your questions, of course, as well. So come by and see us.
Thank you, everybody, for backing, and thank you for joining us today. And please spread the word out, and let's get as many people aware of Castle Zagyg as we can.
Tell your friends. Tell your family. All right.
Tell them all.
We will see you.
Take it easy, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Trolls up.
Trolls. And